Current audience.
Woo! Oh, going wild.
Alright.
Have a good stream.
Alright.
Look at them all.
So, who actually remembers what happened last time? And we'll do a quick recap before we get started.
Neil's fucked up. I mean, he did something really fucking awesome. And he caught that guys single-handedly.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You know what? I think. So, don't you get something from doing a prologue? Is it?
Oh my
You get to
god.
mark off a condition. I know that's what it is in, yeah.
I don't
You know
know, is
what?
that
Yeah,
true?
I think you can mark off if you do a prologue. Don't you get something from
Which
doing
is
a prologue?
basically just recapping. Whoever does it gets to mark off a condition or recover a point of taxed nature.
Well, let's see.
So who's got a... Let's check our conditions, folks.
I have a condition. I got injured. We got fucked
I
up
don't
in
have
that last
conditions
fight.
because I'm perfect.
I am fine with that, but what page is it on?
The prologue thing is 56.
Okay.
Yeah,
Six,
when you
six,
start
or
a
five,
session,
six?
one player may offer up the prologue. When delivering the prologue, you describe to the group what happened last session. If the group is satisfied and well-reminded, you may alleviate a condition, blah blah blah, or recover a point of taxed nature. And you can't do the
Vegan,
prologue.
would you like
two
to
sessions.
do prologue?
She's healed. I know that much, because I did
Yeah.
that. Do you have any
Alright,
other
well.
conditions?
Not on the site, so I might be fine.
I believe you guys don't have any current negative, dispositions. You guys did succeed in your last mission. Admittedly,
Narrowly.
it was very close. The only thing that went wrong is that obviously the big thing that happened was that the enemy leader got away. Other than that, you were given no conditions. So I believe you're all clear currently. The only one who has any issues is the person who used nature last time, which I believe is you, Dylan.
I didn't tax it though. I succeeded.
Megan, Marcella tapped it.
Oh, well, someone used it that was not within the use of nature and has one less.
Probably Marcella.
Alright.
That might be true. I literally have no memory of anything. Where am I?
so you wouldn't even
yeah,
succeed
no.
at giving
Dad,
us
go
the
to the prologue.
Who am
recap to remove the condition, basically. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I did do that. Now I see now.
Well,
So you have no recap to offer us.
Why do I hate this brown mouse? Why does he make me so angry?
God, why do I just want to call him a sack of weasel shit? I don't.
whoa, that's a good
I-
one.
Gosh, if
Trying
only
to
I
knock
could
it down.
remember.
Oh no, like honestly, because I usually take a lot of notes during sessions, but I didn't last time. So I don't know why. There's just like a bunch of random shit, and one is just a fucking rant that I typed up when I stopped. So it was just like stream of conscience of what I wanted to say to Niels, but I decided not to, and instead just tightened the scarf around his neck.
Like, a couple times this character did some shit where, like, I personally couldn't handle the repercussions of it. I was like, I don't think I can play this out.
So who's gonna do it? I think it's between Quentin and Marcella.
I think Marcella should just sit there and try to figure it out, because you can get her
Yeah.
nature back.
Yeah, alright. Okay. So. Dear God. I don't know what that was. Alright. The team arrived, at the Matriarchs to get a mission to protect a frickin' festival.
Keep going.
quickly losing it.
Yep, it's gold.
They met each other. The A-team was there, and they were beautiful.
Yeah, the face turned around and gave you a wink before you left.
Damn right. Honestly, the first, half of the session. That's the only note I wrote. So they made their way towards where the hell was it? Ivydale?
Yes, Ivydale.
Yes, good. And heard a scream, and it was a merchant with honey barrels who had been attacked by ants, and they were dragging away his wares. And so the team fought a bunch of ants, and Marcella got real mad. And then we fought some more. And we won. And then oh my god, what happened? we got things, and we went back to town and got better, except Marcella got worse because she was fucking dumb and tried to climb a tree.
This'll make me feel better.
Fight
Thing I
of my
can't fucking
friend.
do. God.
Wait
Let's
a minute,
remember,
I'm a
she wrote, I
fucking
think she
mouse.
wrote
This
like
thing's
all.
massive.
I think she wrote no successes on climbing the tree. Wasn't that the issue?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's nature, and my nature's fucking low. So Niels and Celia went outside of the town and found a deserted camp, and then oh no, wait, other things happened. I don't remember. Well, either way, outside of town, there
that was the
deserted-
next thing, I think.
That was?
Yeah.
You got it? You're doing it
There was a
correctly?
library or something. Marcella
That was
wasn't
way
there,
later.
so... Oh, was that? Oh, I fucking don't remember the order of things, I'm sorry. Alright, so there was a deserted camp, and then... Celia stayed, and the team gathered back up, went out there, and it was this bunch of old dudes, and they were just having a time. But there were bad guys farther along, and Niels was a little shit, and did well, but went off on his own, and saw the bad mice gonna burn down the storehouse or whatever. And then he came back, but we'd all gotten word, so we all left to find him. And then we all got into fights, either with fire or mice, and were marginally successful. Niels came back. A lot of fuck was had.
Before he came back.
Yeah. Niels did take a nap and then came back, and everyone
Thank
was
God he
really
had a nap.
obviously happy, and no one had any problems with this at all.
Yeah. I mean, if he didn't have a nap, then things would have been there would have been problems. But thankfully,
Yeah.
Niels
My
thought his
last-
companions were smarter.
My last note is
Excuse
literally
me?
just Obrick is the fucker who caught the arrow, and that's all I have for that's like my only other note for this entire session. So
Yeah.
just like A-team and then the fucker who caught the arrow and that rant.
Yeah.
So then we went back to the camp with the old mice and slept. I believe we all stayed there.
Yes, I believe that is where we're picking up. You guys are waking up, and we will likely take your player actions before we. Did you take player actions? Yes, you did. You
Yeah,
guys,
I did.
you guys went
Yeah.
back to town. You
Yeah.
slept with the old. So you slept at the camp with the old guys, doing like a watch or something, and then you guys went back into town, did a few things apparently at a library in order to get rid of your remaining conditions, and
Right.
now we're switching from the player's turn to the GM's turn again.
Alright.
okay.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure, along with whatever that was, that you have a very good understanding of what happened last time.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying there was a lot of parts that you just like didn't even remember, so that's fine.
I like to
You-
imagine that entire was Marcella, but drunk. And then they were trying to burn.
Angrily
Element-
reminiscing at a
Element-
cabin of
It was.
Yeah.
It was. I was talking to that old guy that I fought, that I sparred with. That's.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, let me tell you about our day, man.
Yeah, it was all in character. You remember the session perfectly, of course, but it's just tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This,
Obviously.
this was all last night. You guys had a little too much to drink, and she just explained this to the bartender, who, when she wakes up, finds out it's not the bartender, it's actually a giant mug of ale with a face on the side of it.
have enough to drink last night for what happened. But it's a new day.
Sounds good. So as you all wake up, you know that today is the beginning of the. This is the last day before the festival. So there's one day remaining of people putting their stalls up, getting food ready, getting things in place. This typically, if everything's gonna go wrong, now will be the worst time. Before things are prepared, as mice are still coming into town, you're getting the large crowd of people showing up. You know there's more than a few mice coming in. There's not really enough rooms at the inn. A lot of people are going to be camping outside of town, like, you know, the mice did earlier. So you guys are free to do as you want, but you know that you are supposed to be patrolling the actual event grounds themselves.
So like I picture we're like all at like a tavern together, or like we're all like a place together, or we camped outside.
You guys camped outside. This is
Outside, okay.
like
Yep.
right after you had breakfast, essentially.
Yeah. I think we
So-
were, well, I guess, the character. Were we going to check the apiaries before the festival started? That was something we were meant to get to yesterday.
Quentin is going to give a nod and kind of approach towards Niels, kind of expecting the sword that was supposed to be sharpened and cleaned, and the arrows and whatnot. Kind of, getting like a inquisitive glance, just like to make sure that they were done.
You see, sort of laid out beautifully, all at right angles and straight lines on a cloth, like a fucking picnic cloth thing. All of the weapons for the party and all the stuff that he's been working on is just fantastic, beautifully laid out.
Quentin's gonna kind of give like a approving kind of nod, and kind of I guess turn back to Celia. He's gonna kind of say, I think scoping them out would be a good idea. I wouldn't mind touching base with the other two patrols who are in the area as well. Maybe they might have seen something already, or at least just kind of get a feel for who we might be working with. At least so we know who else is here with us if things go south.
Yeah. Celia sort of does a smile, sigh, and nod at the same time. And says, well, lead the way.
I guess Quentin's gonna kind of, I guess, fold up his bedroll, like whatever it was he was sleeping on, and I guess kind of encourage the others to do the same, and then I guess kind of make his way towards the clearing as to where the festival is.
Come on, Niels. And like sort of brush by you.
All right.
And Marcel just pushes Niels to the ground. Come on, Niels.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, technically Niels was up all night polishing all the swords and fixing Pat's bow, which unfortunately was not mentioned. Just a little curious where that ended up.
Yeah, it was there.
All right. So, as you arrive, you find that most of the people are, as previously stated, preparing their various stalls. It looks like they are preparing a small sparring arena for the entertainment of the onlookers. But the center stage is where the actual ceremony itself will be held, in which the tenor pauls will receive their cloaks. And typically, the cloaks are given to the tenor pauls in a ceremony from their mentors, assuming that the mentors are still alive.
Alright. I guess as we're walking through, Quentin's gonna kind of look over her shoulder towards the others and kind of come to like a stop. He's just gonna kind of say, kind of leaning in kind of quietly. Let us not forget the main reason as to why we're here is to promote a good name for the Mouse Guard to the citizens attending this festival. However, with the events that transpired last night, I think our duties have shifted quite a bit. That does still not mean that we're to neglect our original task. That means be on your best behavior. And his eyes kind of trail between Marcella and Niels.
And like Celia's behind the two and just like smiling back at him, like, yeah, of course.
You can see Niels is about to open his mouth to say something really fucking, really witty, but then he doesn't say it.
I can't make
Shut
any
the fuck
promises
up.
for him, and Marcella just looks to Niels.
Quinn just kind of smiles and kind of nods and says, "That'll have to suffice, I guess. Let's find out where this apiary is." He's gonna kind of, I guess, peer around trying to find out where it is, whether it be forcing to ask people or following the signs, if there's any set up.
I'll probably have you make a roll, but now will be a good time for you guys to decide on your individual goals, because I believe some of you accomplished or decided to replace them.
Yeah.
Actually, on that note, at the end of last session, I actually changed Quentin's instinct to lead by example. 'Cause I feel like it's more befitting. The goal. Okay. I think I might just keep the same goal, because like I worked towards it, but I didn't finish it. Now that we're finally at the actual festival, I think I might be able to finish my goal.
I might make mine like I must prevent innocents from being harmed, or and maybe even like I must the festival must go on. Like even if there's a disruption to it, like people should be able to continue and still have a good time and stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah, because that's like shining goodness into the world. I like that.
And Brock, as you guys hear the sounds of a coyote thousands of miles away.
Mine is still the same. I want Marcella to see the light. I want him to know that I am actually a brilliant young brown mouse, and I am also incredibly handsome.
And have special needs that can only be filled.
Well, the latter of
By a
that
woman's
is
voice.
very subjective, so we'll see what happens. You know what? Didn't we? You know, we did not roll for attractiveness in this campaign. You might want to do that just to see how attractive Niels is or is not.
Niels is a fucking attractive young mouse, man. Young gentle mouse.
Oh boy.
Plot twist, he's like a fucking rat. It's like, oh, what?
And Marcella, your goal.
God, I don't know how to phrase it. Like, properly make Niels understand the danger that will come if he fucks up again. Or fucks up. 'Cause
Make Niels understand the folly of his actions.
yeah.
Niels is a rat.
A 1 out of 100? You literally are the most ugly thing. Oh my god.
Great
He's,
rat guy.
he's like a literal fucking like, oh, he's like a bird or something.
Oh
Or it's like, yeah,
There is. Damn, man. There's
He's
like
literally
there is
so
no redeeming
exact
factor of your
opposite.
character visibly. You look
Do I get a
horrifying.
trait? Do we get a trait for that?
hot. I don't know. You could get a trait. Haunting.
Oh my!
Again, I
Can I maybe roll Persuader to see if I can reroll my...
You cannot. You unfortunately cannot. This is this sticks. Unfortunately, this is gonna stick.
I don't even know what an unattractive
I still think Niels is an attractive character.
I mean, maybe it's golf scoring though, guys.
Unfortunately, it's not.
Maybe I interpret that as like he's not like hot, but he's really cute. Like he's just super boyish, and nobody can like take him seriously as like a sexual sexual attractiveness.
Don't worry, he'll grow out of it.
I kind of want to roll, but after seeing that, I don't.
he rolled. He literally rolled the lowest possible outcome. That's still amazing. It's horrifying, but amazing. Yeah, Quentin, you hold up pretty solid. You're good.
Man. It's the ruggedness.
Very
Life
nice.
does that to you. Makes you a man.
Marcel, not so
Makes you a
much.
mouse. Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, you got a few battle scars that kind of pulls
Yeah.
away from your attractiveness.
Yeah.
You scare
No,
people.
This is completely
bit,
fair. This is a very fair score.
Neil's
All right.
still attracted.
I can't
to
be
you.
the only one not to roll.
Just feel the peer pressure. Well, you are around like 40. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your grace,
You're a
your
bit
hair
older.
is starting to change color. You're a little more rounded near the edges, but
Just
You're
say
like a
Neil's
yeah,
four or
for
five
your
years
age, for your age, you're pretty solid.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, you held up
Watch
well
out,
against the
Nils.
test of time. So, unfortunately, the one who is most charismatic is equally. Oh my god! What is it? What is it? There's that play where the guy with the huge nose who's
Cyrano de Bergerac!
exactly. Is that exactly? Is that what's going
I have
on?
a
Niels
lot of
is so
feelings.
very charismatic, but it's so unappealing to look at.
His poor fucking mouth.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now let us
Fucking
never
hump
speak.
back
of this
and a
again.
limp. Yeah.
All right then. So
The
now we-
apiary.
Now we discussed all this. Someone needs to roll to navigate to the apiary.
I got it, guys. Just
And,
follow me.
Well, I think Quentin was the one who said he was gonna do it.
I mean, if he wants.
Do you?
to
Well,
Could I use Persuader? Just kind of like ask a mouse?
Technically,
Like,
you can. In this
pull one
situation
aside.
with so many people around, you actually could simply ask.
I'll actually
Yeah,
totally
definitely.
help with that.
Yeah,
Make
like
it you plus one.
I'll Quentin wants to try and pull aside if he can spy maybe one of the members of the Mouse Guard, perhaps like one of the mentors to one of the Tender Four who might be floating around early on, perhaps like helping. And Quentin just wants to kind of like, tap him on the shoulder and kind of just like indicate that he wants to kind of talk like with the group away from like the populace or civilians.
Hmm
I want to help Quentin with my ugly yet genial face.
On the picture is Neil's like standing by Quentin, just like baring his
That,
teeth
that
at him, just, like
technically gives
fucking
you a
glaring
plus
at him.
one, one extra die, but almost it feels like it should be reverse.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. You have 2 extra die.
When he kind of follows over a bit, Quentin's going to kind of lean in. I'm just going to kind of say, look, there was a bit of an incident last night. It was taken care of for the most part. However, we are on the lookout for things that might be a bit astray or off. Do you know where the apiary is around here? Have you noticed anything in particular? And can I use my guard's honor trait as well?
Yes, you can. Are you adding or subtracting?
Adding.
Alright. Well, there you go. That's 4 successes. That is more than enough. So the mouse that you're looking at is a rather gentlemanly type mouse. He seems a little worn, but you can definitely tell a guard mouse from a normal mouse. The build, the way he stands, his posture. And when you pull him aside and ask him this question, he says, no, I have not seen anything of late. I've only but arrived. The apiary I can lead you to if you're lost.
Please, yeah. And just kind of nod.
And he'll go ahead and lead you there. He'll take a brief moment to bid farewell to his current party that he came with. He doesn't seem to be someone who's working here. He's more along the lines of a retired mouse who's come to watch the festivities.
Is he brandishing a cape at all?
He does have a cape with him, but he's not wearing it. You can definitely
Okay.
see that he has it though.
So, as we're walking as well, Quentin will be sure to introduce himself and I guess the others in the party.
Yeah, I'll introduce myself as well.
Just kind of fill time whilst they're walking.
He introduces himself as Gio. What's his last name? Freaking A. I guess Gio will have to do for now until I can find it. Eventually, he will lead you to the apiary. He tells you that do be careful. The bees, I've heard recently, are not as friendly as they used to be.
I just feel like it laughs.
I've
Like,
dealt with bees before.
and she like her eyes like glance to Niels and says, "So I've heard."
Yeah, I dated this girl. Well, then.
And then, as he leads us through, Quentin's gonna kind of say, it's kind of just give a nod at his warning, I guess. And kind of again, it's kind of inquire. So, have you noticed anything a bit off around here? Perhaps some of the mice taking particular interest in certain things that they perhaps shouldn't be taking interest in.
Well, in my old age, I find many of the things you youngins do rather odd, but I suppose the only thing that would stand out to reason is apparently there was a burnt down windmill not too far from here. A lot of people have been poking and prodding at it.
That occurred last night. There was a trio of mice who, we assume mice, who set to burn it down. We were able to delay the fire from spreading, and we captured a few of them as well. We'll be sure to question them and find out what intents were had for this. Unfortunately, one did manage to get away.
Well, if that is true, why are you not questioning them now?
Quentin's going to kind of say, we just want to get a hold of the bearings first. A lot has happened, and they're not going anywhere. And they don't seem the most forthcoming in talking either. We tried talking to them last night. We'll try again later in the afternoon once we kind of get a firm hold and grasp on the situation here.
There's been evidence of, well, the last time something like this happened, of sabotage, particularly around something like the apiary. We thought it would be good to check to make sure.
I see. Well, do be careful. I believe the apiaries, well, is that the correct term? Like, what is it? Like, the guy who actually does the bee stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever that is, tells you that you can find him typically around the back, and tells you yet again to be careful. If you run into any bees, he does suggest you not approach. And he will make his way off. So you guys are free to take your actions.
Okay.
The news of the fire spread pretty quick.
Are we sure that was the same fire? Because I thought that we stopped the fire last night. Did it spread, Jack?
Any fire is going to be noticeable.
Okay, so he wasn't saying that like it burnt to the ground.
I got the impression that like when he mentioned they were like poking at it, like more so kind of like trying to find out what happened. That's kind of the impression that I got.
Yeah, well, I just hope that it doesn't reach too much of the people, and that won't cause any troubles. Fires can happen, but we also can't expect that it won't happen again. Do we know what was inside of that warehouse? Was it just grain?
You know it was grain. Typically grain would be the easiest to burn. And admittedly, without any grain, without food, the festival would be, held back or stopped.
It was also a mill.
Yes, it mills grains into, flour.
Well, if we can find out where any other warehouses that or points of interest that may be sabotaged, then they may be worth checking as well. But I think the apiary is where we should start, considering there is a history of that being unleashed.
History is prone to repeat itself. He kind of nods in agreement. Alright, well, he's going to kind of rest a hand on his sword and I guess kind of start walking and see if he can try and track down this apiarist? Beekeeper? I don't know.
Apiarist? I don't know.
The
beekeeper. I'm going to stick with the beekeeper. The bee whisperer. That sounds good actually, but yeah. Either beekeeper or bee whisperer. We'll leave it at that. So,
I went for bee whisperer.
Sounds good. Okay, give me one moment. So, I think we might go ahead and reread the description of Ivydale so you guys have a better understanding of what you're looking at. Unless someone else wants to do it. It's on page 173.
in the 2E thing.
Sorry? Okay, I'll do it. Ivydale is a very hard-working town that harvests most of the grain in the territories. All of Ivydale's residents, young, old, male, and female, sit in separate husks from grain during harvest time. Some of the fibers harvested are woven into cloth, often too rough for clothing, but suitable for tarps, bags, and insulation. Other duties include tool mending and sharpening, baking, milling, weaving baskets for storage and transportation of grain and goods. Guard mice are ever present in Ivydale because so many of the grain shipments need escorts. That's the main description. It's in like a shallow, ivy-choked valley. It's made of several small settlements hidden away in trees and rocky outcroppings. 4 trees house most of the lodgings and storehouses. Some of the wheat, rye, and buckwheat sprout up from the settlement walls. For water, Ivydale relies on rain collection and a well inside the base of one of the trees.
All
It's
right.
a town, and that's how we'll go.
Yeah, that pretty much covers the visual aspect of what you're looking at. So, if as indicated, those are the buildings that are there. Whatever you think may be targeted is really up to you guys to figure out.
Okay.
Well, I mean, reading that, if this information is known in character, just
It is.
close to Lockhaven. As Celia suggests, other points of interest, Quitten's going to kind of use. What about the well in Ivydale?
That's a good idea. I think we should just check there. Hold on, OC. What's the deal with the apiarist? Do we just not know where he is right now?
You just haven't, you know where the building is, but you don't know where he is. He could easily just be in there tending to the bees, but you don't want to risk going in and upsetting them. Like someone did in the previous session.
Well, we could ask around to see if anybody knows where he is. If he's in there, then that'll be the easiest. Or we can check the well first. I mean, it's up to you, Quentin. I don't really mind.
Quitten's going to kind of nod and say, I think we should go check out the well first. I can imagine this early in the morning. He would be a really busy individual, and I think it's safe to assume that if something was to happen, it most likely happen tomorrow. We'll come back later in the afternoon or later on in the morning and see if we can catch him then. As long as we track him down for the end of the day, I don't think it'll be too much of a harm.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
Quentin is going to take out, on his little, on his belt. See, on the picture, he has a small little scroll case. He's going to kind of open it up and kind of tear out a bit of paper. He's going to kind of maybe look around for maybe a desk the beekeeper might use for some kind of ink or something to write on.
Yeah, eventually it takes you a little while, but you do find something.
Okay. Quentin might kind of neatly scroll on it, the mouse guard wishes to speak to you later on in the afternoon. And I guess Quentin's just going to kind of draw a sign on seeing the other mouse guard, kind of rest it on his desk. Not in not in the middle of the desk, but something on his desk somewhere. So hopefully he'll see it.
Though that would seem a little more threatening. The more likely thing the mouse would do in this situation would be to stick it on the door so it'll be noticeable as he comes in. But the whole dagger in the door kind of thing that would freak a person out.
Yeah, it's not so much to freak him out. It's more so just mouse guard wants to talk. I don't know. It's kind of, it's like that whole kind of texting people.
We just want to
convey.
talk.
Yeah.
Don't mind bloody dagger.
Don't worry. I will look it over to make sure it is suitably friendly. That's my role.
You had a smiley face.
Celia,
Yeah.
just of course.
I do, actually. I do add a smiley face.
You know what? If you guys want to do that, I will go ahead and let you roll Persuader.
You sure we don't want to leave a message?
Just leave the
Sounds-
entire sword stabbed into
Maybe
the
a lock of his daughter's hair?
Yeah.
Sure,
that sounds
man.
like Quentin's making the roll and I'm helping.
Okay. So it's gonna be. Is anyone else gonna help? Well, it's gonna be. What is it? Okay.
Sneezes, Jack. Oh.
2.
Okay, with 2 successes, which admittedly, you're fine. You write down a rather decent note, leave it on the table, and you believe that he'll come across it and, hopefully he'll read it. If not, then you'll be surprising him as you come in the middle of the night. Or, late afternoon, I mean. Alright.
Yes, well, make our way to the well in the tree.
You know where it is, it's just a simple walk there.
Perfect.
As you arrive, you find that many people who have come into town are, of course, heading towards the well, collecting water, getting what they need. There's a rather long line. There's a decent number of people as well. So if you're looking for any one particular mouse in the crowd, it'd be rather difficult. For the most part, what you're seeing is a hollow base of a large tree trunk, about the size of a relatively large, think basketball size area inside the tree, with one major well in the center, and people are lined up heading through it.
I say I can sample some of the water to make sure that there's nothing contaminated, although if it is contaminated, it might be a bit late. Still, it's worth at least comparing the sample.
Quentin's going to kind of nod and kind of look to Niels and Celia. He's going to kind of say, Niels, see if you can spy any, perhaps, tracks and spots there shouldn't be. Perhaps someone was maybe skulking around the rear end of the well for whatever reason. Celia, I think that's a good idea if you can try and maybe give it a bit of a comparison.
Okay.
Niels just gives a self-satisfied smile and a nod, and gets to work.
God.
Yeah, I'll take a sample of the well. What does the well look like? Is it kind of like a ye olde stone circle well, or?
Ye old stone circle well.
Okay, cool.
It's probably not as well built as a more modern well would be, but it definitely works. More than likely, it taps into some sort of underground water source.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take one of my flasks out and just fill it. I'm guessing that to do a proper sample of the water to make sure it's not contaminated, it would take a lab or something.
Yes, typically that's what would be necessary. But obviously you could do a very simple test to see if there's anything. Because obviously you could definitely test right away if it's poisonous by drinking it, but obviously that's not the best way to go. And you're well aware that small insects would be more susceptible to poisons and whatnot.
Oh yeah, I can do a small experiment on that, just to try to see if it's because again, I'm kind of conceited that it's probably, if it's poisoned, then we're already kind of fucked. But
yeah,
at least to get a baseline, I fed this water to this beetle and it didn't die, and then if I feed it tomorrow and it dies, then I'm okay, everybody stop drinking from the well, please.
As the only member of the party with Insectress, I object to the torture and abuse of insects.
Too bad, you're doing something else. This is all Celia.
We'll
I'll
have
have to
fucking words later, though.
Yeah, I'll let
Proper
Quentin
thought.
know that I'm just gonna find
Alright, well, what I need right now is two separate roles from you. One, I need you to roll resources to acquire. Okay, I guess first we're gonna. You already have the water. That's not gonna require a roll. But you're gonna have to roll resources to acquire a small insect. Likely you had to purchase it, and then you can make your. Admittedly, as long as you don't roll all zeros on a scientist, you will find out within a few hours whether or not it's poisonous.
Okay, and is a insect just one, odd one?
To purchase him, yes, it'll only be odd one. Buying something small. It's essentially a house pet type insect.
Oh, there's a list of things that you can do. I'll go with that for now.
You're gonna murder
cool
a
list.
dog.
He's essentially murdering a dog. Or
Fucking
No, I'm
straight up, man.
I guess he could
Performing
be.
animal experimentation.
I'm gonna go with he's buying
We
an
killed
aphid.
2 birds with 1 stone, and we feed it to all the bees. So if it's poisonous, we kill all the bees. That rules that problem out.
What in the world?
I will heal if the bug gets sick. I will heal it, but for now, that's my resource roll.
Alright.
So I get a hold of the I get a hold of a beetle.
Let's go with aphid. That sounds like a solid, like, lab rat kind of translation.
Aphid?
An aphid.
What?
Did I say it
I don't know
wrong?
what that is. How's it spelled?
Think like a baby lake beetle.
Okay. Yeah. I'm down for that. Oh, now I'm getting all attached to it. But this isn't a time for attachment. This is a time for me rolling scientists. I actually only have a scientist of 2, but that's fine. Well, that's 0 successes.
Whoa. I literally said the only way to fail was to roll 2 zeros, and you managed to do exactly that.
Yeah.
The insect dies. On the
Here's what happens. You
Okay.
feed the aphid all the water, but while moving around his cage and preparing things, you essentially misplaced him. You have no idea where he is. You're spending a lot of time running around. You're a little upset. You're not angry, but I'm gonna say that you're tired. You spent a lot of time looking for this guy. You eventually do find him, but you don't know if he died from drinking the water or for neglect for the last several hours.
Oh, great.
This fucking bug needs to be cared for like every hour.
It's like you just bought the guy, you gave him some water, and then you lost him for hours. He's small. You probably were supposed to feed him, but you didn't manage to do that.
You can't. Oh man. Well, can I perform a tiny little autopsy on his body?
That would be rather difficult, but I will let you do it.
Is that a healer roll?
Let's see. Yeah, healer sounds good.
I'm going to check against generous for me, because I just feel really bad. Like I feel like I should just be burying it, giving it a proper departure from this world. But I have to do this for the guard, and I feel bad that it died, and I'm just kind of reluctant to do this whole thing.
All right,
Does that count?
go ahead. I'll let you do it.
And it's healer, yeah?
Yes. Basically, we're looking for a medicine check, and healer is the closest translation. On it too. You open him up, look through his little body, and you examine all the, theoretically vital organs. I don't know if aphids really have livers, but that's essentially what we check first. Let's see. Okay. Your immediate examination tells you that there was no poison, but it does bring up the question why this aphid died. Probably your own neglect.
Okay. Well, I bury it, and because that took a few hours, why don't we find out what the others have been doing?
Yeah, I'm a little sorry about that since you got pulled out of it for so long, but
No, it's okay.
something had to happen to make you tired for all that time.
Yeah.
So, while he is busy doing his thing, what are you guys doing?
So where's Niels through this?
Behind the well, tracking the bad guys. Never poisoned it. Should I roll stealth? See if there's been any suspicious activity here. Get my Sherlock Holmes on.
Did you roll? I don't see anything.
There we go. No, I think he was asking for if he could do it.
Oh, yes, you can. I thought you were rolling and I was waiting for the outcome.
Now it feels super bad.
You didn't fail miserably, but you were definitely noticed the entire time. No noticeable negative effects, but you stand out quite a bit as you're doing your thing, man. Anything else you want to do, Brock? Because I can't hear you right now.
No, I'll probably just head over to Quentin and the others and report that I found no suspicious activity in this area.
Okay. So, out of character quickly, did Celia tell us that she was doing some testing, or like we can assume that she's going to be away for a while? At least, like while she does some tests and runs all that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Quentin's just going to kind of nod. He's going to kind of say, "That's." I don't want to say disappointing. It's good, but it's going to kind of sighs a bit. It says, "We should still keep looking, but we do have another job to attend here as well. I was wondering perhaps if the trio of us wouldn't mind putting on a bit of a show."
What do you have in mind?
Quentin kind of turns to Marcelo and says, "Well, friendly spa, perhaps. The spa you did just last night with the grey fur was nice to watch. I'm sure it'll raise spirits. Who knows? People could be quite impressed."
You're a little bit surprised because you know that Niels really likes to show off, but he scrunches up his face and he's like, sounds a bit pretentious.
Quentin kind of turns towards him, kind of raises an eyebrow and says, "Coming from you." He says, "Well, we do have a job here to do as well, and I think maybe it is time you have a bit of responsibility around here. What do you think you can do to encourage the Mouse Guard's reputation, or people want to join the Mouse Guard? What can you
Well, if
offer?"
you want to whack each other with sticks, we can do that.
Quentin just kind of nods and he says, Niels, I wouldn't mind if you actually went to perhaps some of the more populated areas in the town, such as the tavern or anything of the sort like that. See if you can spy any rumors." And Quentin kind of like puts a hand on your shoulder and kind of gives you like quite a firm squeeze. And he says, don't do anything stupid, and don't tell people what happened with the fire if they inquire. Okay?
Of course.
And Quentin kind of gives like an even firmer squeeze, and he says, "And don't tell Celia I let you run off."
Well, I'm not running anyway.
Consider this an opportunity. Do not squander it.
Where will I meet you?
He kind of chews his lip and he says, "When you've finished, come back outside the arenas we passed, walking to the apiary. We'll be inside there."
The what? What is it?
Like the little stage that they were constructing, or like just
Oh.
finished constructing. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, Niels head the fuck off, because he wants to go get his drink on. JK.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit, though.
Marcel, what are you doing? And
I mean-
technically, Pat hasn't decided on action to either, have you?
Yeah. I mean, really, I'm just watching all of this happen, and mostly just been shaking my head a lot. And rolling my eyes. But there's nothing specific that I've done.
About some friendly spas at the little stadium construct they've built. So you can kind of, I guess, rally some spirits high. Good entertainment during the day. Picture it's hot, so people may want to break from their work for a bit. 'Cause, I mean, we are here to, I guess, to drive Mouse Guard conscripts, I guess. I don't know.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. I guess we'll make our way back to where we passed.
Alright. So, I think what we're going to do first, we're going to go ahead and see what happens between Pat and Marcella, if they're actually going to have a sparring match, or if they're just going to, pretend to fight each other.
I don't think anything choreographed. I don't think like they haven't worked together for long to have anything choreographed or down pat. I mean they fought amongst each other a couple times, so I think kind of just encourage like a friendly spar.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, let's see. What would be a good role then? Because for the most part, you're really doing more of a performance rather than having an actual match.
We can roll that if you want.
Was your performance skill?
I have a performance isn't, no,
No.
unfortunately.
I'll have a look through the skills. Well,
I mean, like, Persuader, I mean, there's...
Yeah, Persuader would be the fallback at this point. But I'm looking at the skills as well. Let's see if we can find something that will relate to that.
You can use Orator if you shout at the top of your lungs. Are you not entertained?
Are you not
Yeah.
entertained?
You
Orator?
get bonus
Yeah.
points if your neighbor shows up.
I got an Orator of 2, so we can definitely give it a try.
I would have
You
to go Persuader. Because I don't have Orator at all.
Well, you only one person needs to roll, and basically the other person will give the one making the roll an extra 1 die.
Okay.
I think Quentin will support you. Like, he'll encourage you to, you know, lead the stream.
Marcella, he's pushing all the work onto you. What do you say that you make your roll?
I say let's give him a show.
Right.
And to the people.
Draws his sword.
Alright. So, doing rather well, in fact.
Oh, I didn't even roll his addition.
You already, you're fine. You succeeded.
Yeah.
You had 2 successes out of
Yeah.
2 possible die.
Yeah.
You definitely
Yeah.
succeeded.
I didn't need his help giving a show.
So you guys are making a big show of this. You're sparring more in words rather than physical actions. But you're not really managing to hurt each other. And you're really drawing a crowd at this point. By the time you guys are done, you notice that there's a good number of children just around you guys. They kind of hopped into the little arena that was prepared. Admittedly, they should not be that close, but you weren't really having a fight. And you see a lot of parents were just watching and clapping, and a lot of people were asking for an encore, and some of the older mice are more or less waiting for an actual fight to happen.
I think, unless Marcelo wants to do anything first.
No, I mean,
I think,
I'm letting you take
Quentin,
the lead. I respect your authority.
Quentin will look towards perhaps one of the more eager of the younger mice who kind of leapt on, and Quentin's going to kind of gesture towards him, kind of peer to the crowd. He's going to kind of say, "Who is the parent to this stalwart individual?" Looking around at the crowd, seeing if the parent's there.
As you look around, no immediate person steps up.
Okay, Quentin's going to kind of,
that's
I guess,
sad.
yeah,
Well, it is
Quentin's
a festival
gonna
area. It's likely that he's probably here with friends or
run
something.
off. Or, yeah, I mean, Quentin's just going to kind of give him a warm smile and kind of look towards the other mice on the stage and kind of say, "Are any of the parents here for these mice?"
You definitely see a few parents stepping up for the other mice around.
Would any of you mind? And Quentin's going to kind of lean down and kind of pick up a stick and kind of offer it towards one of the closest mice, as if like encouraging them to like attack Quentin.
This could go really wrong.
While the parents are thinking about it, one of the mice immediately runs up and attempts to sock you in the stomach.
Oh god, for the
I
little
like
shit.
it. I like this. I like this kid.
Get fucking gangbanged.
Yeah, I know, right? Fucking yeah.
It's like no
Seven of
mercy.
them sleep on
Like
you.
you say fight, he goes up and
This is what we think of the
punches
fucking
you.
mouse god.
Yeah.
Conflict.
So, roll your health, because this is definitely a surprise. I'm not even gonna leave it to maybe your roll. He just definitely lands the hit, because you're not expecting this kid just to run up and punch you.
Okay.
So this is like how you're feeling after the fact.
I kind of almost want to like have nature so I don't lose my cool in front of a crowd. I don't know.
That is the issue right now.
I think I might actually spend one of my fate points to tap my nature because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, this is like directly linked to his, I guess, goal in being here. So he doesn't want to fuck this up. So I'm gonna. Is it, oh? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I always get them muddled up.
Okay. All right. With 4 successes, you do succeed. You get hit pretty hard. You get the wind blown out of you, but you manage to hold firm. Like you take a moment to breathe. You didn't even bend over. You're just like sitting there taking in the pain for a moment before you speak. But as far as anyone can tell, you took the hit really well, considering how admittedly this kid. Now you get a better look at him. He was a little big for his size, and went in really hard. You know, if there was health in this game, you'd be in quite a bit of pain right now.
Quentin's gonna kind of peer down towards him, kind of like his hand falling to where he was hit, and say, "You gotta swing to you, kid." He says, "We can definitely use someone like you."
He gives you a very big grin. It's more that he's happy that you gave him a compliment, and less that he just punched you in the gut and thinks that's cool for some reason. Though, admittedly, everyone else in the crowd's more or less happy that you got hit. As you may remember, some of the younger individuals that are in your community have grown to disdain the mouse guard just slightly.
Goal: show children that violence is fun.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
It's working, if nothing else.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess without wanting to kind of step up too much screen time on this, so I guess Quentin kind of wants to, you know, if the parents are okay with it, maybe have a few of the kids take some sticks, swing at Quentin and Marcella as well. I guess try to just like us just kind of parrying the blows, kind of just like encouraging them. I guess like just you know, let loose a bit. Maybe do like a very brief kind of just how you swing, like start from up here, move your hips this way, bring the sword down, like a stick like this, how you get more power in the swing. I don't. I just basic kind of things like that, just kind of putting on like a bit of a show to some of the youths.
That sounds fine. And I think we're gonna leave it at that. You guys won't have to make a roll. Admittedly, Quentin rolling his health and just like standing there as he gets hit, it's pretty solid enough. Many people are impressed. And we're gonna move along to Niels. Niels, you arrive at, of course, a bar. Admittedly, you're a little young, so they don't serve you any alcohol.
The fuck? Is exactly what I say in my mind.
Don't you fucking get trashed. Celia would kill me.
So,
I'm thinking about what Celia wants right now. I'm thinking about what Niels wants.
alright, Niels, what do you do?
Is this fucking the United States? That's it. As I drink my ginger ale, I think about how stupid Marcella and Quentin must look, hitting each other with sticks in the middle of this fucking arena. Everyone's staring at them. And then I say
thankfully
to
Celia has dignity, and it cuts to her like sprinting after this beetle.
Cutting open a fucking insect.
It's like you briefly see Celia running across the window, just screaming, "Aphid! Aphid, where are you?"
I say to the bartender, Alfred, because that's his name, I know him. Heard any rumors lately? Perhaps mice doing unusual, suspicious things in the area? Any factions that don't like the mouse guard?
He smiles and just slowly shakes his head. There hasn't really been
Up and
anything
down
like
or
that
side
for
to
quite a
side?
while. From side to side. So he's saying no. Says that nothing of late. Really, a lot of strife hasn't really been going on since the Mouse Guard have been using Ivydale as their festival grounds. Though you always hear rumors now and then.
What about all these important buildings being awesome?
Well, so far as I heard, there's only been the one building.
Come on, Alfred, I know you know. From what I heard.
He sighs and drops down a cup and pours you a tall drink, and then leans in close as he slides it to you. Well, what I've been hearing is that there's something going on. That exactly what's going on, I don't know, but that someone has been moving supplies into town recently. The supplies were supposedly kept in that windmill that caught fire yesterday. Now, I don't know what these supplies are, and I don't know where they're going, but whatever they are, they must be of interest to these terrorists, I guess. If you can find out who or what these supplies are, who these supplies are going to, you might have a better understanding of what they're planning. And he leans back and tells you that'll be whatever currency is used in this game.
He does what?
We don't actually have a currency in this game, as far as I'm aware. So he tells you, like, what, 5 silver, and leans back.
I know in Burning Wheel, like, a resources check is not necessarily, like, handing over money, but it could be, like, I'll give you 10 goat, and it's, like, organizing a transaction that might happen later, as well as everything else. So I think, like, in Burning Wheel, like, coin is something that's actually kind of uncommon, but everybody accepts it. Maybe they were going for the same thing in Mouse Guard. I think that's really up to you.
I will stick with coins being the currency. The main thing that's going on right now is that Neil needs to roll a resource check to see if he actually has money to pay the guy for the information he was just given.
Of course I got money. Fucking made of money.
Of course my mentor has money.
Of course she does. Look,
Wow.
Alfred, I'll pay you 5 good feelings and
You
and
rolled a
faith.
1d1.
Roll a 1d1.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering, do you really only have one resource? Most people have more than that at base.
Well, Tender Paws have much lower.
Okay, well, he rolled
Look,
all
Alfred,
zeros.
I'll pay you in good gestures.
He hands you an apron and a dish rag. And then he opens the back door. And if you do anything but go back there, it looks like he's gonna put you in the face. So you're tired because you spent apparently the remaining few hours washing dishes or cups.
As I'm washing dishes next to this douchebag Alfred, I ask him, "Hey Alfred, any idea who runs the mill? Someone I could talk to?"
The mills. Most of the mills are privately owned, so that's really... You're gonna have to go find it yourself. And he goes back to work.
I flip him the bird as he turns around.
That is going to be a slight issue. Not that you give him the bird, more that each of the mills is individually owned and can be privately owned under a pseudonym or something.
I guess we never really confirmed that the mill that was tried to be burnt was actually relevant to the festival. We just kind of assumed it was.
Yeah, I feel like it's a logical assumption, but you definitely are right.
It's probably not worth, like, spending valuable time investigating.
Alright. So, as the evening comes to an end and all of you reconvene, Neil's with some pretty fingers, and one of you, slightly, angered or tired from running around. You know what? You're both of you are tired, aren't you? But yeah, you guys
sort of.
make your way back. Go ahead.
I meet up, and I'm just kind of like my eyes are kind of like droopy, and I look at Quinn and it's like, the tests were non-conclusive, but I think by now we would have known if something was wrong.
Is that
Which is
blood,
kind of-
Celia?
She like looks to the side and like looks down at like the bit of like a bug blood on her. It's like, I had to do an autopsy on the bug. The bug died. It's a long story. It was a long day. Please tell me you guys found anything that wasn't draining.
Quentin's kind of like holding this like side of his rib with like left hand. He says, "We found out the youth around these parts have quite a swing. They put on a bit of a show." And gestures to Marcelo. Smile. He says, "Seems the kids are pretty into it, actually."
Celia like just kind of chuckles with like her head like between her eyes, or her hand between her eyes.
Quentin kind of turns to Niels, kind of raises an eyebrow without asking anything.
Well, turns out that someone has been shipping supplies into Ivydale recently. They've all been kept in the mill that was arsoned last night. If we could perhaps find out who this person was, why they're stockpiling resources in Ivydale, perhaps we could find out what these terrorists are up to.
We could also interrogate the prisoners again. Maybe if we get more specific and after some time, they can be a bit more honest with us.
I have a feeling they might open up a little bit more now we have a better idea what we're dealing with. I am curious
Maybe
though.
you should do it, Celia. And Niels looks at the blood on her apron.
She kind of flashes a smile which like quickly fades and kind of like slowly shakes her head.
I am curious though. We passed a merchant transporting honey for the festival, and I'm going to assume many more carts have already left. Imagine the Mouse Guard and Lockhaven would contribute quite a large amount of supplies directly to the festival, which makes me kind of concerned as to why they might be stockpiling such large quantities. I mean, it could be assumed it's for the festival, but
It's possible that there may be more than one player at play here. If these prisoners that we've taken, if we don't know too much about them, then perhaps they're going after another organization that has something to do with this place. Maybe they're secretly aligned with the Mouse Guard. But they probably would have been more friendly to us if we would have interrogated them.
Quentin thinks back, kind of just nods. They weren't too forthcoming. I say we give them another round of questions. And I think Neil's actually right. I think Celia, you might be able to work some of your friendly aura around them.
And torture.
Perhaps, and perhaps afterwards, Quentin kind of says, we go scope out, see that a Praesius is back. Beekeeper.
Yeah, that sounds good. I won't torch her, and she looks at Niels with a smile. That was never my job, but I can talk to them forthright.
That poor insect, though.
It was... And like, you struck a chord, and she's like, look, okay, I did all I could, alright? You don't even know that there was an insect. You don't know what was involved in that. And then she's kind of upset, but then she like cracks a smile. It's like, it's okay, it's alright. We got what we wanted.
Just don't kill the prisoners. I'm sure they're very valuable.
Well, I don't
Niels,
know,
it's
it
fine.
depends.
Niels, it's fine. We'll let you test the water next time.
Maybe we should be feeding the water to the prisoners.
Maybe we should have just done that.
Anyways, let's head out to the prisoners.
Okay.
Who have dried up into husks at this point.
So we're dividing into two groups. Pat, who's heading to the Apiarist, and you guys who are heading over to check the prisoners again. Sound legit? Is anyone else going with Pat or no?
Well, I mean, like, well, what's the time at the moment?
It's dusk.
Jeez.
I mean, the sun just barely, started going down.
Alright, yeah, I mean, like, I would have preferred to go as a group, but I mean, if it is getting to this point in time, we did leave a note, so I think Quentin would at least want to follow up on that, so Quentin would want to go. Yeah, I guess Quentin would go to the craziest.
We can also swing by the warehouse afterwards to see if there's like any sign of who might own it. Because I think we parked the prisoners pretty close to the camp, which is pretty close to the warehouse, so or the mill.
You can definitely make your way there if you make camp outside again. Or I guess theoretically you could even make camp in the mill.
Well, step one is I'm gonna lead Marcella and Niels to find the prisoners. We'll deal with that first.
Alright. When you arrive, you find that they are being watched by some of the more local individuals. These are like town guards or people that the town employs themselves as, just general like patrols and whatnot. Obviously, they don't really hear like you guys in the form of like fighting weasels and stuff like that. They're just, they're essentially the guys with the whistles who run around with small clubs they hit people with.
Yeah, I thank them candidly and wholeheartedly. And I will go up to one of the prisoners and like, what kind of state is he in right now?
They're being fed very little. Minimal food, minimal water. For the most part, they've just been in this room. They have shackles and handcuffs, essentially.
Alright, I kind of sit down in front of one of them, kind of like cross-legged, and I sort of say, hey, can we talk for a moment?
He briefly makes eye contact before looking away from you.
Look, we have learnt that some supplies were in that warehouse that the Mouse Guard was not aware of. Do you think we were wondering whether it was a coincidence that you targeted it or not. And she's like smiling.
You briefly catch a smirk on his face before he tries to go back to the, like the emotionless kind of look he was trying to pull off earlier.
Well, I mean, let me just put this out there, that if there were supplies being brought in that was not of the Mouse Guard's awares, and some local vigilantes managed to find them and try to put a stop to the deceitful measures, that said vigilantes would likely be given a better treatment than some random group which seemingly is sabotaging the festival. And she's like trying to look to see if there's any response.
So there's currently 2 mice in the cell. The one that you're attempting to talk to doesn't seem to want to communicate, but the other one does walk over. While the other one does protest, he walks over and asks, "What exactly are you looking for?"
Well, we're just trying to make sure that the festival goes according to plan, and right now these shipments being brought in isn't part of the plan. I was just wondering if you knew what they were, who was bringing them in, so that we can investigate the matter further, and perhaps something could be arranged for this transferal of information.
They take a brief moment to discuss. If you would like to take a moment and discuss with your party as well, that's really up to you. Otherwise, you can wait for him to decide on an answer.
Yeah, I'll kind of relay. Niels and Marcella, are you like in the room with me?
Yeah.
At this
Okay,
point,
so you heard all
Niels enters the room with a red-hot iron rod.
Like as soon as he comes in, Celia just like points.
This is a
Out of here, out of
prison.
here.
Where are you even getting a red hot iron rod?
Do they see me?
You can be
No,
threatening.
like as soon as I see
if
you,
you
I'm
want.
like trying to get you out silently.
Can I roll Persuader and add my trait haunting guys?
To me? I'm telling you to get the hell out.
No, to them. I want them to see.
No, I'm right now. I'm telling you to get out. I don't want them to see that.
Okay. I turn around and I put the iron rod back in the prison fireplace.
Good. I kind of like sigh and kind of like I give like a wide-eyed like thank you kind of sort of sarcastic thank you.
All right. Well, if you have nothing else to discuss, one of them
Yeah.
is standing
That was
by
our
the
negotiation.
bars, and looks like he's waiting for you to come back.
Yeah, I come back.
Okay. So, yeah, guys, this is still looking away in protest. The other one says, "All right, I'm willing to talk. I don't know about that guy, but in exchange, I want to be released."
Celia smiles and says, "Absolutely. I'll just I'll talk to the jailers and see what I can arrange. How about that?"
Roll. Well, actually, are you being honest? If not, roll deceiver.
I am going to go talk to them about it. In my eyes, if this guy's helping, then he's probably not that bad after all. But I assume that like he might want me to go and do that now. I suppose I would want to go and do that now.
He's just trying to get paid so he can feed his kids.
As I'm kind of like I'll say like just a moment. I'll talk to him now to make sure everything's fine. And Celia turns around and kind of like whispers to Marcelo, just like just play along, just try to make it like we're the good guys here. It might not be that bad in the end.
You say so.
She gives kind of like a smile. It's kind of like, of course, kind of smile. But then I'm gonna go find the jailer or somebody in charge that I can talk to about this.
Okay. Realistically, you know that you would need to speak to the town mayor because they did burn down.
Oh, okay.
You know, something in the city. He's the one to go to. Otherwise, the mouse guard would expect you to handle things on your own, and if you need to call backup, then you would be giving up your authority to someone else. Other than that, the one person you should be checking with is Pat or Quentin, because he is the commanding officer for the mission.
So are we like technically allowed to let him out if we get the patrol leader's blessing? Like, is that within our realm, or the mayor does need to know?
Technically, you are free to take them and do whatever you want with them. The mayor will obviously have some protests, and the mouse guard will have some issues if the mayor has starts complaining, because then the mayor will... Because basically the mouse guard exists on the donations of nearby cities. So if this city just decides to give less during winter, the mouse guard won't have enough food, and they're going to have some issues. And then all those issues will, end up being leaned on top of you.
I'm sure if we can take prisoners whenever the fuck we want, we can come and take food whenever the fuck we want, because we're fucking tyrants.
Okay.
Right. Sure.
Okay. Well, I guess maybe
The matriarch walks in the room with a red hot iron rod.
No, she sends in the
Where
A
is
team.
my brain?
Obviously.
I think I kind of assume at this stage that Quentin kind of already gave me his blessing because of the way he phrased it, and also I just have that kind of faith. So I might go see the mayor and try to like meet up with him later.
maybe because I'll sort of discuss this with you two as well. It's like maybe me and Niels can go see the mayor and then meet up with Quentin, and maybe Marcella, you can check out the warehouse while we're here.
All right.
She smiles and says, all right, well, let's meet back at the usual meeting place. And I'll head to the arena. Yeah, and I'll like beckon Niels to follow, and we'll go to the mayor's office.
All right then.
I wasn't really gonna use the rod. It's just for show.
I know, Niels, I know.
I think it worked.
Well, what's important right now is that if we show them that, you know, we can accept them back into society. That's what they really want. A lot of these people who act out like this, they feel that the Mouse Guard is strong-arming them, or isn't really fitting into the bigger picture of their lives, or maybe they don't feel that they're totally accepted within their own towns. I think it's important to kind of show them.
Quick cash to feed his kids.
Well, yes, maybe. That may not be as acceptable, but regardless, I don't wish to leave off the impression that their only option is to continue acting out if they want to be accepted by anybody.
It's a very idealistic view. One that I appreciate.
Yeah, she'll smile at that. And continue. Somebody else can go.
Alright. Well, what we're going to do is going to hop over to Pat, and then we're going to go back to Megan to see what she's doing.
Alright.
So, first, Pat.
Yeah, okay, so Quentin, after, splitting off, is going to beeline, straight towards the, process, or the, what the fuck is called? The beekeeper.
You're going to call him the beekeeper. It's the simplest way.
Oh, that's... We should just use that all this time.
Yeah, so Quentin's going to, walk his way towards it, kind of carrying himself quite proud, resting out like a hand on his sword, like it is sheathed, kind of, marching his way towards it. I guess kind of, approach towards the door and kind of wink into it, kind of knock.
A raspy old man's voice calls back to you. Who is it?
He says, "My name is Quentin from the Mouse Guard. We have a couple questions if you have some free time. It's quite important."
It's late. Why now? As he
It is
hear him
important.
making his way to the door.
Quentin kind of takes a step back from the door, hearing him kind of shuffle a bit closer.
Eventually, you see him open the door. It's a rather old man. He's apparently missing a leg as he's leaning all his weight onto a rather gnarly-looking walking stick.
Takes a moment to kind of size him up a bit and kind of smiles towards him.
Says, "What do you?"
Sorry for disturbing you at this ungodly hour. However, it is important. I've been tasked with the Mouse Guard with a patrol, and we are investigating any issues or complications that might arise with the ceremony tomorrow. I was just wondering if you happen to notice anything fishy amongst your bees or where you work. We are aware of what happened a couple of years ago. I would hate for anything to repeat itself.
Something fishy? Is that some sort of joke? I've been at it for the last 3 days.
Quentin kind of just nods, says, I understand that this must be a very, very busy, stressful time, but anything that you might have, any people who've been snooping around, tampering, fiddling perhaps, people you might be a bit unsure about, it would go a long way.
He calls you to come inside further.
And kind of just nods and kind of is sort of kind of like look over his shoulder, make sure no one's kind of watching, just kind of steps in.
It's a rather slow walk as he hobbles over to and starts putting on his beekeeping gear. And he hands you just the headpiece and tells you not to touch anything.
Quentin's kind of hold it and kind of sheepishly put it on. Assuming he isn't holding it for me to just a hold for him while he puts on his other stuff.
Yeah, he's giving you one of the spares. He's putting on a whole suit he gave you, just so you don't get stung in the face.
Quentin's gonna kind of chew his lip a little bit, kind of take a deep breath and kind of put it on. Just kind of wordlessly follow.
He turns around. You get the feeling that he's grinning underneath that mask as he says, "You ever done this before?"
Quentin kind of looks at him and says, "No, never." Any tips?
Don't scream.
Quentin's gonna look down to his yellowy gold cape and says, "They're not gonna think it's honey, are they?"
Most people don't think they can see color.
And Quentin kind of just nods, kind of bit kind of taken aback and surprised, kind of interesting. And yeah, kind of just move into his sinking steps when follow him.
Yeah. It's a rather lengthy walk as he's taking his time. He has to hobble from, he has the one leg. Eventually, as you get a little closer, he pulls out a small, sort of like oil lantern-like device as he starts using the smoke to charm the bees. As you guys head your way in. As he leads you through the actual area in which the bees are, he points out that one of the primary pillars apparently has been cracked open. It's leaking out honey, and it looks like, especially you can tell, that the old guy, in what measure of how handy he is, has been trying to keep it held together, but it's not really working. A lot of the bees are putting a lot of effort in the form of coating it with wax because that's their method of fixing things, but it's not really holding up.
How did it crack? Do you know?
I came in here about 3-4 days ago. Saw some hoodlums running off. Thought they stole some honey. When I got in here, it was this. All the honey just spread across the floor. I spent the first 2 days just cleaning this place up.
Quentin is going to nod and says, "I hope that I can bring back my patrol later on this evening, see if we can get this patched up and fixed before it dissolves into anything worse."
The old man says, Nah. This is my job. I'll take care of this.
Our job is to make sure no complications happen for this festival, and we would like to see our job through as well. Quentin kind of says, looking towards him.
You get the feeling that he's a very stubborn old man. You can make a roll if you want, or see what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and use persuade her. Could I maybe use the guard's honor trait, try and instill some authority to my tone, maybe?
Well, that's really up to you. If you believe an authoritative taking authority against an old man would really do the thing.
Nah, he's probably
Old
no.
man.
He probably wouldn't. No, I'll roll without 2 successes.
All right. You catch that he's still rather stern and doesn't like the idea of it, but he eventually does says, "Fine, you can come, but only 2. I don't want a bunch of too many cooks in the kitchen," they say.
Quentin just kind of nods, says, Thank you. I'll take my leave now and return in an hour or 2, and we'll get this fixed up." He kind of says with a reassuring smile.
He hands you the little lantern, and apparently he pulls out a hammer and gets back to trying to patch up this massive crack.
Quentin's going to quite hurriedly escape the beehive, not really wanting to be in there for anything than he has to, and then make his way back.
Well, actually, if you're gonna run, as you start running, you hear the buzzing of the entire hive begin to go a little louder as you make your run out of there. Obviously, they're not gonna attack you, but when you make a large, you quickly move through it. They all react from the movement by flapping around a little bit. Alright. You do obviously make it out. You're totally fine. And I guess you head back to wherever the party may be. As none of them are there, because they all separated and went off in different directions.
Well, I was hoping to meet up with Quentin again. Were we gonna meet back at the meeting place?
I picture Quentin would go back to, I guess, probably towards the little stage or the arena type thing, and maybe while he waits for others, just kind of, maybe a couple friendly spars here and there. But I mean, he's probably going to be lingering around there for a while.
Okay.
I think that's where he thinks the others would go to see him.
Okay. Alright. Marcella, what are you doing?
I'm going back towards the mill and looking to see if there's any, like, markings on it that would say that, like, we couldn't see at night that said who owns it or anything.
It's night now.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when we weren't looking for that when we were there last time.
Okay. What would
Also, like any signs of what was stored here?
Inspector orientator, senior fighter. I guess it'd be scout.
All right.
As you take a look around, see you can find the name of the owner or any clearly identifying marks anywhere.
Nope.
Nope. Right. So while you're trying to do this, and you take a good look around, you find that a lot of the floorboards are a little loose. You don't think it's all that safe to head in there. Obviously, if you trying to look at the cargo that's down there, it's going to require you to go into the building, but you don't think it's really all that safe anymore.
Okay.
So it'd definitely be like -1 die in an attempt to go in. And if you fail, you're more than likely going to injure yourself.
Please don't hurt yourself again.
On a literal... If you literally get no successes attempting this, you're pretty sure you'll get stuck inside there for a little while. It is a situation where you might actually die if you're left in there for too long.
Like, if you use a trait, though, doesn't that add...
You can use a trait to add a dice, or you can use a trait to, like, negatively impact you on a check.
Yeah.
Because I do have that foolish trait.
Are you... Okay, well, if you're foolish, I guess you... If you're acting foolishly, then yes, you get 1 extra die. Or are you trying to take 1 out?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go in.
All right.
I'm gonna try.
Marcel is doing almost exactly what Niels did last night.
All right. It's still...
Yeah, but I have a cloak, so it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Nobody can shout at you if you get it wrong.
So it's still a scouting check. You have 1 extra die.
Plus the -1, so it just
And then
stays the
so
same.
it goes back to 3d6, yes. Oh, wow, that's a definite turnaround. Alright. So Marcel, as you make your way in, it is a little rickety, the floors kind of collapse as you walk across them, but you do find a safe path to where the bulk of the cargo is. As you manage to pop open the lids and take a closer look inside, you find that a lot of the items in the crate are a little too large. You know, cloaks, a few bags, a few other, pieces of equipment. They're all a little too big for a mouse.
Oh, fuck. Weasels.
Good. Got it.
Yeah, as you continue looking around, a lot of things clearly indicate weasels, as someone earlier stated.
Alright.
Okay. There you go.
Then, with that information, I will leave to go meet up with everyone.
Okay.
Actually, I'll take one of the things with me to show them.
Okay, what do you want to take? There's a few bits of armor. You could take one of the weapons, but it is kind of large, but... I guess you could probably wield a weasel dagger.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Alright, you essentially have a great sword now, so... Way to go.
That'd be badass if that's your new weapon now. It's like just taking weasel weapons.
Alright. You have the weapon and you take it with you. Admittedly, what I want to say is, you could definitely wield that with foolishness, because obviously that's not effective at all. But it gives you an extra 1, even though that in total it gives you 1 less die in your attacks.
Alright.
Or you could use foolish to your advantage. It's like it's so dumb it just might work.
It's so stupid that like the enemies wouldn't expect you to be using it. They wouldn't be like expecting, like, I don't know. It's like, what? Yeah. I caught off guard.
It would definitely frighten an enemy, especially if you're fighting another mouse. Or you pull out a weapon that's almost the size of you.
Yeah, pull out, as in you've been dragging it behind you the entire time.
Hey, just if Sephiroth can do it, I can.
Exactly. You just need like 1 more wing and really nice pair of boots.
So easy.
Okay. So, before we regroup, I believe Celia and Niels are going off on their own as well. So what are you two doing?
I might, for the sake of play, maybe we meet up with Quentin first, because then we might be able to regroup a bit more. As well, I'm conscious that it's actually kind of dangerous to do things by yourself in a GM turn, because Jack could just be like, "Welp, you're ambushed," as a twist.
Yeah, technically, the most danger to just happen is Marcella could have failed horribly and just been in there and died.
Yep.
Let's be honest.
That's what I just.
If it was all zeros, she would have died just then.
You are imprisoned.
Not to mention that when everybody's together, there's a lot more like help dice. So, I guess when I set out, I'm like, maybe we should meet with Quentin first. It's on the way, and he's probably done by now.
All right. So, Quentin, you are just there, as you just sparring with a few individuals, and both Seals and Celia and Niels will come in. Sorry, Seals and Niels. You guys come in, seeing that Pat is currently busy giving a bit of a training to some of the younger children. They're all enjoying it. It's just a bit of fun. At this point in the night, you find that there's a lot of individuals around. These are like the adults who couldn't come here during the day, other kids who were perhaps busy working or something, and they're all just having a little bit of fun. The event grounds give them quite a bit of light. They all have food, and they're all enjoying each other. And then you hear a bit of excitement, as apparently there's a crazy mouse wielding a giant blade coming to the arena. And as you wait for this epic mouse to just come in, you just see Marcella dragging this weasel dagger behind her as she heads her way to the arena.
My eyes like widen as I see it, and I kind of approach with hushed tones, like, "Is that a weasel dagger?"
Yeah. Not. Mill had a little bit of loot in it.
Put it away! What do you think people are gonna think if they see that? Us dragging that around here.
That the mouse god protects them from weasels? Perhaps?
Like, Celia thinks about coming up with a response, but can't think of one. So she's just like, okay, well, that's pretty interesting, yeah. I turn to Quentin.
I think, yeah, so like I think like during this, Quentin was kind of just like, he like lost his concentration and kind of cast his gaze towards Marcelo, the giant weasel. He's kind of got maybe whacked by the side with a stick or something. It's like, okay, it's like, yeah, just stop for now. Just go behave, do other shit. He doesn't say that. He says like go. Just okay. He says we'll take a bit of a break. We might come back to this later. Just stay out of trouble and don't do anything stupid. It's not fun to attack other mice. Don't forget.
It's the same mouse who punched you in the stomach earlier.
Yeah, like Quentin likes that mouse. He's gonna kind of give him a smile and like a ruffle on the head and kind of make his way over to Marcella, kind of looking at the weapons, and kind of look between the faces of his 3 companions. He's gonna kind of say, "So what? How? When?" His eyes kind of like scanning around behind like the outskirts of the town.
So I'll say, so we went and interrogated the prisoners. One of them is willing to talk, but we need to be able to guarantee his release, which I thought I would see if I could arrange with the mayor. I asked Marcella to check out the mill while we were out there, to see if she could ascertain. And well, now you're up to date, Marcella. That was in the mill.
Yeah, it's not the only thing there.
Were they resting out in public, or were they stowed away?
Stowed, but not well.
Well, the floor did kind of... Well, only a small portion of the building was set on fire, but it was difficult to get down there. It was essentially in the basement area.
Yeah, but I mean, like...
Quentin's going to kind of rub his temple. He's going to kind of say, we're a while out from the scent border. I don't know why we seem to be this so deep into the territories. Quentin kind of sighs and says, we need to find out if the prisoners were aware of weasel possessions inside the mill.
They were. When I talked to them, they knew. They knew what they were doing.
Quentin nods and says, well, that raised the alarm as to how they knew, and more importantly, if they know where the weasels are now.
Well, I mean, we can definitely talk to the mayor. If we can prove that there was weasels in there, then there's absolutely no reason that these prisoners can't be freed. But that does beg the question why they're being so secretive. I mean, if they were just fighting weasels, anybody can talk to the Mouse Guard about that.
Quentin kind of just nods and says, I think no matter what's happening on here, there's a lot of chit chat behind backs. I think we should track down. Quentin kind of pauses and he says, before I continue, I tracked down the beekeeper. Apparently some vandals came in and assailed and damaged some of the hive's property. They were a bit buzzed about it. Kind of says, kind of like forcing a smile on his face, trying to kind of like lighten it a bit. And he says, I said that we might be able to aid him in repairing it. I think we should track down one of the other two patrols currently here. See if perhaps we can get some of them to aid the beekeeper, and then go and speak to this mayor and get something sorted tonight.
So what is the significance of this sabotage within the apiaries? Is it look like that the bees could escape?
Truth be told, I honestly know very ill about bees and how they work. It looked they were occupying themselves with trying to repair it, perhaps instead of creating honey and food for the festival. I'm not sure, but all I did see was that there's a lot of bees coating it wax. I mean, I don't think they could escape from it, but they definitely didn't seem to be they didn't seem to be happy.
I mean, I think that our priorities right now are a bit split. I mean, it is important that the honey is coming in, but if weasels, then...
The priorities, even at a hint of weasels, stands above all else. That is our priority. I think we should, however, contact one of the other patrols, see if we can get some of their individuals to aid with the honey, and we ourselves will go as we are more informed.
Alright,
And
there
we
is
should
something
update them as well.
There is something I want to say real
information.
quick, because I guess I didn't explain it that well. But now that you know that there's weasels involved, and realizing the rather large crack in the side of where the bees would be, obviously weasels like honey, and due to the size, it'd be not too much of a stretch for you to perhaps think that weasels were involved. Because otherwise, how are you going to break essentially a building meant to hold bees?
We should definitely inform the other patrols that weasels may be involved.
Right.
At the
Quentin's
very
going
least.
to look to Celia and Niels and say, go track down the patrol to, I'm just going to assume like the north and south entries of the festival. I don't know. We were talking about it last time. I didn't take a note of it. I'm going to say, see if you can track down the patrol over there, and Marcelo and I will track down the other patrol. We'll meet back here as soon as we can, and then go directly to Mayor. He needs to be made aware.
Okay.
Quentin
Yeah,
kind of
she nods.
Yeah, he starts taking a couple steps away and kind of pauses, turns over his shoulder, and he says, Celia, this festival will happen. Kind kind of says, almost like more so to himself than to Cecilia, kind of gives a firm nod.
Yeah, and she like gives a firm nod back as well, and beckons for Niels to follow. Come on, we gotta find the patrol.
Niels is looking a little bit more serious now, and he just follows along.
And I'll head off to that.
Just to check, no one has any like instinct or anything relating to like weasels that say you're gonna kill them, right?
No.
Nope.
No.
Alright. Okay, that's just a little remnant from watching the Roll20 stream then. Okay. So, who is going where? Let's go over that real quick, because I didn't really catch all of it.
We're just splitting up to warn the other patrols that there might be weasels about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Quentin would ask the patrol that he sees if they could spare one or two mice to aid the beekeeper.
Yeah, same. Like, I think if once I, like, it depends on whether you want to play out us, like, meeting with the other patrols, but my goal is just, which I assume is also Quentin's wishes, is just to tell them there might be weasels involved, well, there almost certainly are weasels involved, that there's another faction which is kind of opposing them, and that the beehive was broken into, and they need some repairs for the festival to go forward.
Okay. So the ones going to meet up with the older mice who were, for the most part outside of town, wondering about checking the nearby or the outer regions of town. There's not going to be an issue with that. They'll believe you. They'll do what you ask. They won't dispatch the entire team, but they'll send like 3 of the more capable men over to help the beekeeper. And they'll spread out, and the rest of them will spread out in order to keep a watch of the area. The other group of mice that are in town with the patrols, you guys have not actually met and don't know where they are.
I thought Quentin met with the leader when he was finding the apiarist.
What?
I must have misheard that or something.
No,
Who did you meet before you met the apiarist that was like telling him where it was?
That was just a random old mouse.
Random old mouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I think he was like formerly part of the mouse guard, but he seemed retired.
Yes, a retired mouse guard. Old guy, retired. He was just there to watch the festivities. Not really on patrol or anything.
If we want to retcon, then we could all go to the old mice and then ask if they know, or ask them to pass the message along while we go talk to the mayor.
That's fine with me if that's what you want to do.
If they were like within eyesight or near us, then yeah.
You
Makes
would
sense
know
to do.
where they would be, because they essentially been staying in that same campsite. Not the one you guys were at, the one that they were drunk at when you first met them.
Yeah. Alright,
Okay.
should we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. And now let's go see the mayor.
Alright. So far you've only met him once, and that was when, you were bringing in prisoners, and he was there to take a look at them. Is this still the same night? Because it just keeps getting later and later.
I don't think any of us have, like, taken a proper break. This is, like, we kind of have to move quickly for this.
Yeah.
Alright, just confirming. So you arrive at essentially, let's say, 8 p.m. in the middle of the night. Arrive at the mayor's house. It's a little small. It isn't like a grand mayor's house. But you go knocking to the door, and essentially his wife opens up the door and is taking a gas as saying, "Is Marcella still holding the dagger?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's taken back and is a little frightened by armed mice. She does eventually realize that, oh, you're guard mice. Oh, one moment. Let me get my husband. As she,
While she's away,
yeah.
can I, like, just talk to Quentin and the others? Like, should we
mention the weasels to the mayor, or would that just upset things even further?
I think he definitely has a right to know what's happening in his town, even if we only have thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. Celia
Plus,
nods.
Quentin also kind of just says, plus it might give us a bit more authority here.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
So it takes a moment. She comes back and lets you all in. You're taken to essentially their dining room and served with a bit of tea and honey. She says that her husband will be down in a moment. He was getting dressed. You do see that she's a little flustered and she's constantly running around the room, bringing you guys food, bringing you guys snacks. She's trying to make you guys feel invited.
I feel very invited. I'm like thanking like every time she brings a snack over. I'm like, thank you. Oh, this is so good.
I think Quentin's quite the opposite, actually. I think he's quite direct and blunt and to the point. Like, kind of just like not really kind of paying much attention to the individual bringing the snacks. I think he's very kind of like we need to like, yeah. I think seeing at Quentin's just kind of say something very pressing has happened here.
Okay.
I'm sure you were made aware of the fire in the mill that occurred last night.
The mayor nods.
Keeping it simple, we have 2 of the 3 culprits under our lock and guard. And upon further inspection, and it kind of looks to Marcella, weasel gear was found.
Wait.
Stowed away amongst other items.
Weasels? Nothing was told me about weasels. What weasels?
We don't have a certain answer if weasels are here. But there was gear and armaments and weapons for weasels. And I don't think they were a collective piece.
He clearly is panicked. He's constantly worried. The missus, I'm gonna say, is still more concerned about making sure you guys feel welcome. But when she hears weasel, she stops for a brief moment. He says that okay, well, if there are weasels involved, we can't proceed with tomorrow. We have to cancel. We can't have weasels showing up with so many of us around.
Quentin's gonna kind of look to him. He's gonna say, "Sir,
His eyes like widen as well.
There are 3 patrols of the Mouse Guard within this festival, keeping watch, keeping guard. This festival needs to happen." He's going to kind of pause. He's going to kind of say, "One of the prisoners has agreed to talk. If we have your approval as well, if we can offer him freedom."
For information, and I think these prisoners were fighting the weasels as well, so look, the weasels' presence may not be connected to the festival itself, it may be connected to this group, and if we can get them to at least go elsewhere, then nothing will go wrong. But I mean, if we cancel the festival, then I mean, we can get involved in this. If this happened a few years ago and there was only, relatively minor sabotage operations, then perhaps this, I don't know, maybe it's not such a big deal. Maybe we can deal with it tonight if we get this prisoner to talk.
Well, what does he want then?
Just freedom.
Well, that's... You're free to take him. I'm not gonna fuss over one prisoner. But you already have more than enough authority to take him.
Then...
Yeah. His primary concern is the people. He's still adamant on the idea of canceling the festivities. If there are weasels around, no matter how well armed we are, there are still going to be a few injuries or casualties at worst.
Quentin is just going to kind of say, "We rest near Lockhaven in the heart of the territories. We have a large number of patrol guards and patrols from the Mouse Guard here, as well as the mentors and the to-be-promoted Tenderpaws. If we cancel the festival and give them a free win and a free pass, I don't think they would just turn around and leave." they're here for a reason, and I don't think they would leave empty-handed.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure that what they want is for us to cancel the festival. It's what they wanted last time.
And they got it, but if they don't get it this time, I mean, if we do cancel and they are here in arms and there's no resistance, what stops them just keep from continuing on their path to the territories? They're already here, they're already geared, they're already armed.
It's very deep territory for weasels to be prowling in.
I'm going to be. I'm like trying to convince the mayor, just in general.
Alright. So, well, we can leave this to one singular roll, or we can switch into a conflict of arguments.
I've always wanted to try a conflict of arguments, but it would be up to whether, like, if you think that this is going to be something that's a pretty big deal, then I'm willing to do that.
I feel like the conflict is if both sides want very different things. So I guess it kind of depends how. Like,
Actually, yeah, that's true.
yeah,
'Cause,
like, yeah. It's like if we're both similar of wanting to stop the weasels, there's not much of a compromise to be made between it. It's whether the festival kind of goes to be or not.
Well, your primary mission and main objective is to get the festival to continue. And his main thing right now is that he has to worry about the people. He doesn't want any of this to go on if there's even a chance they'll get hurt. He has to protect his people, make sure that for him, he doesn't really care the fact what possible plans they have going on. His natural instinct is telling him to flee, and he's gonna get everyone else to leave as well. But if you want to leave it to one persuasion check, I have no objection to that.
I think the problem is, like, the conflict rules say that because we both need conflict goals, and those conflict goals can't be mutually exclusive. Like, because right now, what we want is for the festival to continue. What he wants is the festival to not continue. And it's difficult to find, like, a compromise between those two. If it was, like, if we wanted him to, like, give us supplies, and he wanted the festival to not continue, then I think that would be a conflict.
So
I think.
leave it up to a roll then?
Yep. Alright. So we'll leave it to one roll. Who's gonna make the roll?
This is my goal, to continue the festival. So I feel like
I think it speaks well to Celia, definitely.
I'm putting myself forward with it.
And
I-
who is
Quentin's
going to be
definitely gonna
assisting? So that's one. Anyone else?
So we are rolling to convince the mayor to continue with the festival.
Yes.
Niels does think that it would be best to just continue on with the festival. So I would like to help Celia
Alright.
How are you doing that?
Yeah.
with my excellent persuasion and my beautiful, beautiful face.
You're intimidating him, essentially. Okay.
Exactly.
Marcella, what about you? You're free to sit in the back and smirk like you do quite often, actually.
I think Marcella's a bit more interested in the weasels right now than the festival, and is probably just looking at the dagger. And we'll follow whatever's decided, but this is a pretty piece of work right now.
Yeah. It's like the craftsmanship is very well made. Admittedly, the size is really the main feature, because you can't get like medals like this. Not typically, not in the mouse guard. It's like they make smaller weapons, obviously. Large weapons means you're slower, you're hard to maneuver around. So you typically never find one of these in the mouse guard. And if you take this and keep it with you, you would be the only member of the mouse guard with a weapon this large. You would definitely stand out.
And coming from a smithing family, I'm very, very interested.
Indeed.
So Niels would probably explain that there couldn't be very many weasels here because it is so deep within mouse territory. And he thinks that it would be best for the mouse guard and the people of Ivydale if the festival were to go on, for their safety and the reputation of the Mouse Guard. He probably just says for their safety. But there are a lot of reasons that he thinks the festival should go on.
Okay. So I'm getting help from Niels and Quentin.
Yes. So your persuasion plus 2 extra dice.
Okay.
Okay.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna admit this was gonna be a little difficult in the form of like I'll be like challenge rating 3, but a 4 is definitely gonna succeed. With a few reservations, the mayor will eventually give up. His wife, he turns to his wife and tells her to take the kids and leave, but he looks at you and says, if this is what you want to do, he understands that it'll be better for, you know, all of us if the festival were to go on. And he apparently leaves it at that. He asks you very calmly to all leave.
I smile and thank you. Thank you. And
Quentin just gives him a look and says, it'll be okay. It'll work itself out. Kind of gives a reassuring smile. And,
He doesn't look as confident as you, but he gives you a nod before he closes the door.
all this terrorist activity will work itself out. Don't worry about it.
It's like the Twin Towers.
Speaking of which, I think we got a long night ahead of us, because the sooner we can at least figure out what's going on, the better. Should we head to the prisoners?
yeah, definitely. Straight to.
I'll bring the rod.
You and the freaking rod, okay. So, we're gonna say it took an hour and you arrive at the prison house. Yet again, you
Okay.
find more guards who, of course, are paid by the city to watch the prisoners. You are allowed in without too much of an issue. When you make your way inside, you find... Okay. Both mice are asleep. It's rather late at the moment. And, you know, obviously one of them is choking to death.
Yeah.
No, that's the large child.
I'm gonna wake up the one that was talking to me earlier about being freed.
He stirs from his sleep and looks at you and says, "So what will it be?"
I think we have a deal. We'll let you out. We'll pursue you. Be able to live your life.
He raises his handcuffs. Like, are you actually gonna let me go?
I look around for a key and look at Quentin and kind of
Quentin is going to kind of turn to some kind of kneel down against the bars, and he's going to kind of say, we'll have to let you out after tonight, as I'm sure you might have an idea. Do you have all of our word? You will be free.
He takes a moment to look at each issue individually, and then catches. Well, Marcella, are you still holding the dagger?
Yeah.
He catches sight of the dagger.
I
What the
was carrying it around with me.
What has your friend done?
I step so I clear a path so that Marcella can answer.
What have I done?
Were you seen? Do they know?
We don't even know what's really going on.
All of this, and you don't know what's going on.
We have ideas, but we'd like to hear it from you.
You hear the other mouse who's pretending to sleep, chuckling over there. He says that, let me out right now. We have to talk, and preferably away from here.
Quentin is just kind of sigh. I guess turn towards one of the guards, and hopefully, 'cause we don't have anything written by the mayor or anything of the sort, so Quentin's going to kind of turn towards one of the guards, and he's going to say, "We need to take this prisoner out."
They look at each other. They stagger for a moment. They eventually do hand you the key, and then one of the mice says he's gonna run over to the mayor and see to check with him. Technically, they know that you outrank them, but they still, they have their own people they answer to.
Quentin is just going to nod and says, We will not wait for you to get back. We're on a tight schedule."
Right.
And Quentin's going to kind of, with the key, I guess, kind of, making sure people around him are ready in case he springs out. He's going to put the key in, open it.
Yeah, Celia also says, like, he doesn't seem to be that keen on visitors at this hour, but, I understand. Let's, lead the prisoner out of here.
Okay, where are you guys trying to take him?
Does he have any indication of where he wants to go?
His main statement was out of here. If you ask him, he says that he wants you to get him somewhere safe, away from anyone who may be watching.
I'm gonna look to Quentin to see what he thinks.
Yeah, I think Quentin is going to begin kind of moving towards some of the outskirts of the town, like nowhere public. He doesn't want people to see this exchange. He doesn't want to cause like an unnecessary terror against people over here, so he's kind of begin moving towards like some of the outskirts of the town.
As you're moving the prisoner around, you do draw quite a bit of attention. Mostly it's Marcella. The rest of most mice in town don't know the faces of those who set the fire. So most of the attention you're drawing is just her. That's about it. Before you make it there, you do catch sight of him being rather nervous as he looks around.
Maybe well, I'll look around as well when I see that.
Go ahead.
To see if there's something he sees that we're not, or if there's like a trap we're walking into. I'll use trapwise, if that helps.
I will let you do it, but the main thing is there's no guarantee that it's a trap,
Okay. Well, do you want me to roll, or should you just...
Yes, you'll be rolling.
Okay. Rolling scout?
It's up to you. If you want to roll trapwise, if you think it's a trap, or you can roll scout instead.
Well, trapwise is you just add to other rolls. You don't ever roll them by themselves.
Good point. So roll scout
Plus trapwise?
plus trapwise.
Okay. And just discount the last die if it's...
Last die is actually a success. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you are looking around, and as you catch sight of him, suddenly you see him go white in the face, and as you turn around to look at what he's seeing, and you catch sight of him staring at Geo, the same mouse that you met not too earlier this morning, actually, right?
The person who led us to the beekeeper.
Yes. You catch of him staring back down at you guys. He seems to have taken a slightly higher position. He's amongst the crowd, but he's looking, and the mouse is staring at him, rather frightened looking. And before you guys are able to do anything else, you note that the so-called, mice around you all turn with weapons at the ready.
I am panicking.
That's a good response to being ambushed.
You can
So,
see that
did I
Beals
get a
actually
fail?
postures in sort of like a defensive nature between Celia and her assailants.
Alright.
Quentin
So,
is standing very close to the prisoner.
as you look around you, there's a total of about 5, 6 if you include Gio, who he still looks like an old man with a walking cane. So I guess he could hit you with a cane, but he would also require him to get within melee range.
Okay, but yeah, he's definitely in on this. How many assailants are we talking here?
5.
5. Well. I guess it's time to use that knife. Hey, Marcella. Celia definitely doesn't say that. Should I mark a fail or a pass for my scout?
You technically failed.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm panicking right now.
Alright, let me see if I can get this to work properly. Can you
I'm
guys see
one,
that?
one, yes.
Yes.
Alright.
That looks really, really
Can
good,
we
actually.
please use the Pokemon one?
I like the Pokemon one too, but no, we're gonna
This
at least,
is
we're gonna do this one. If we, as a group, decide to not use it, we won't use it next time.
One of the things that I felt like I wanted to do was I wanted to like make Pokemon sprites of all of our characters like from the back, so we can like find them up.
so good.
That would be great, actually. You know,
Yeah.
feel free to do
I can
that if
edit
you want.
so it's got like a Pokemon arena in the corner or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool, actually. Alright, let's turn on a little bit of battle music. Alright. So, each of you has essentially an option of what you guys want to do. So, it's essentially going the same way as before.
Yeah.
All of you will have actions, so will they. And good luck with that, guys. And why is the music not working? I don't hear a thing. Do you guys?
Either. There we go.
There, let me
Yeah.
adjust that.
Celia is most certainly part of the team, and she is fighting, but she's probably only going to take defend actions.
That sounds reasonable. Alright.
Sounds amazing.
So-
yeah, okay, so
yeah.
we need a conflict goal. So I guess by the way they're stationed around us standing, I think it's pretty clear it's going to be into like a physical confrontation.
This is something I'm always wondering about Nausgard, is like how big the conflict goal could be, because like we could say, oh, we capture Geo.
I guess like
But
I
then
guess,
that
like,
would assume that we
the
would
bigger the
deal with
goal is, the more room there is for compromise. I guess is kind of how it kind
I
of balances
see.
itself out.
That's
Yeah.
basically the point. If that's literally your main goal, you might win and still catch him, but maybe the rest of them might get away as the compromise. Because your main goal was specifically, the biggest target in the room.
Well, Celia is definitely not the conflict captain, so I'll leave that to whoever is leading the charge here.
Like our goal should be something like subdue as many of these mice as possible, something of the sort like that. I mean, like the ideal goal standpoint would be to subdue all of these mice. There's 6 of them.
Something I would like to bring up is technically you're also... You probably still want to keep the prisoner alive so he can answer some questions, but they're likely going to be after him as well.
Oh no! Can we hear their goal first? Is that how it works?
Sometimes you just don't know their goal.
Okay, that's fair.
And
Well,
a realistic
well-
answer would be their goal is to get rid of the prisoner, the guy who tried to talk.
Okay. So we don't need to write as our goal to stop that, because that would just be defending. I think maybe our goal should be to just capture Geo.
Yeah, that's probably more realistic than me subduing them all. I think capturing, he seems to be like the face of it.
Yes.
I think capturing him would be a good goal for us to strive towards.
Yeah, assuming he's definitely part of the conflict, and we're just not horribly misreading the situation, and he's just like in the bystanders, like, oh, a fight.
Well, he is with a series of other mice who are not in the fight, looking down at you from above. Like more or less, imagine if he was at a party, and just somehow set up the ambush so he could view it from the party.
Yeah. So, I think that's a good goal. Is to get him. Or, well, if he's not part of the conflict, then maybe we have to say, like, we get out of this, and then chasing him is, like, another matter. It's up to Jack, I suppose.
Well, he is technically close enough that you could get up there. He's not in a separate room, he's just... You have to essentially climb up a couple of routes. Imagine if you were going up 2 flights of stairs to get at him. So
Yeah, if it's a valid conflict goal, I'm very happy with it.
Yes. Is that what you guys want to do? Also, can you
I'm happy
guys
with that.
write in Roll20 or no?
Yes.
Right,
can
then-
we?
Yes, can you?
Yes, we can. We should be able to.
Just
I see
making
the
sure.
Can
icon.
you see that?
Let's see. I see it. It's so very tiny though.
Yeah, I can increase the font size to 300. Wow, that is very agoraphobic.
Okay, there we go. Asdef. That's the
Yeah.
password. Asdef.
Our goal is capture Shia.
Body these fools.
Body the
Body
top
these
of cap.
fools, Jensen.
Body these fools. Yeah.
Yo, Jensen, body these fools.
Alright. So, from there, we need to roll disposition. So, who has the highest health, and then you gain 3 extra dice on that, or something. Am I
think
getting that
we-
correctly?
I think we worked out I had the highest. Base health and then fighter.
Alright.
So it's gonna be roll.
Celia, you're going third. Rock
Yeah, I'm
second.
just
Then it's this number of successes plus 5.
Alright.
So we got 10 disposition. Fuck yeah.
not bad.
Very nice.
Body these fools. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a way to scale things in?
Oh, to adjust the size of your mouse?
Yeah.
No, only the GM can do that. How big do you want them?
Could you crank mine up so it fits in a little square there?
Yeah, just that.
Like that?
Yeah. Can you turn grid snapping off?
I can.
Hold- if you
well, you
hold
can
down-
also hold alt, but I'll go ahead and turn the grid off. We won't really need it.
Yeah.
And there you go. The grid should be off now.
I might not actually go there though.
Well, it's a little square. I thought you meant for it to be like a holder for your token.
No, it is. I just don't know if I'm gonna move there.
Alright. Well, we're waiting on Marcella and Niels to drop their tokens and prepare for combat.
So we have 8 disposition.
10.
10.
10. Okay. Oh. That was terrible.
I almost want to say this fight will go better than last time, but that's literally jinxing it. You know, like I
Also
just
not
did.
hard.
Where do I find me?
Okay, well I'll do it for you, but it's
Sorry.
it'll be in your character sheet, and you switch to bio and info on the very top left, and from there you can click and drag your token.
Okay.
And there you go. Well, actually, if I can get you fit perfectly in there, that'd be nice. It's close. I'll leave it that way though.
Oh man, I never had this. Oh, I'm tired, so we have to reduce the disposition by 1.
Oh no, there's 2 people who are tired.
Okay, I'm just gonna double check to make sure it stacks, because I learned in Torchbearer, like, hungry and thirsty reduces disposition, but only once. Like, if multiple people are hungry and thirsty, then it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Then you're all just equally fucked.
Well, basically the idea is that you both gave 1 dice to the disposition, but then subsequently remove the same dice, didn't you?
It's just 1 less condition flat. It's not 1 less die.
Okay.
Yeah, it's -1 disposition to
So-
all conflicts.
Alright, then you guys are just 9 instead of 10.
Yeah. Is Niels tired as well?
Niels and you are
Yeah.
tired.
Okay, so we're at 8 disposition. Well, I was all
chuffed that we had a double-digit disposition, and now here we
I
are.
know, right?
It lasted for a whole.
Once again,
Nothing.
TPK.
Yeah,
But I'm here
TPK.
this time.
You guys always have the option to run away. Technically. Technically,
Yeah.
you could run now and lose nothing, but you would definitely lose the conflict.
I believe in the heart of my.
Running like no
Oh, nice.
bitch.
All right. You selecting dice or actions?
Yes.
Can you guys see the cards? Then you may go ahead and select your actions. And roll their disposition.
Oh, the cards spawned at once, and now I don't know which one's mine.
Okay, yeah, I think. And you try to drag it over.
I'm going to say that other than the last one over there, it's going to get deleted, and you guys are going to repick. Just
Okay.
to not have any mix-ups.
I'm gonna wait for like 5 seconds before I place my card down. Actually, no, I'm gonna put it all the way over here.
Alright.
It's
That's
definitely.
what I did.
Okay, what size is the number you placed?
What?
What's
I'm trying to figure out the number size you used.
Oh, I think it's 100 for the 8 and 40 for the starting.
Alright, well, it's 9. I'm just going to leave it like that. You guys can see it, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Their starting position is just 1 point above yours.
I can just copy and paste. Can I copy and paste? I can't. Well, that would be easier.
Okay.
cookies?
What just happened? Okay, one sec. Oh, there it is. It's bugging out a little bit from my end. Okay. I think the biggest issue, I can't get them all straight without the gridding. They're all just slightly askew.
Yeah. I'm gonna spend forever meticulously placing it correctly.
My obsessive compulsive disorder, you're killing me, man.
Just like these mice are killing us. Hey! Press goes.
Oh, alright. Pat, you're up. What do you
Okay,
do?
yeah. So Quentin, seeing these individuals take position, Quentin is going to kind of stand in front of the prisoner, kind of like seemingly knocking an arrow into his strings, and obviously kind of, with a bit of bow, courtesy of Niels. He's going to kind of peer over his shoulder towards a prisoner. He's just going to kind of say, "Don't do anything stupid. Stay close." And he's going to kind of knock an arrow back, and he's going to try and get some cover fire down for his people. And I will flip and reveal maneuver. Okay. I'm just double checking on the cheat sheet what the bow gives for maneuver. Bow plus 2 dice. Okay. Rolling the dice. Rolling the dice. 5 successes. There we go.
Success would be nice. Yeah, that's very nice, actually. Okay. Well, for the most part, they just have simple weapons. Knives, which has nothing special other than maneuvers, which will be for later on. But, alright. And their attacks will
So it's a
be against your
verse.
attacks. Alright, /R. Oh, well, Geo's not rolling. Alright. And he will make his attack against yours. The likelihood of him succeeding is not at all.
Please don't say that.
He's not going to pass.
Okay, so I get a
It's gonna
marginal
hit,
success
I
of
believe.
2. So I'm gonna use the gain position for the maneuver. So gain an extra 2 dice on my next action. So Quinn's kind of like, offering some cover fire, like kind of like, peppering the front line, I guess. Softening them up, leading them.
All right.
Whispering
Moving along.
sweet nothings into their ears.
Niels, what are you doing, man?
Niels is gonna, I guess he's gonna maneuver in front of Celia, and just sort of protect her, and he's gonna start.
Dodge.
It's Quentin. Very, very Legolas, the close quarters, fucking shooting these people.
Alright. As you guys will begin to notice right away, that as this fight goes on, their primary target clearly is the prisoner. As many of these attacks are aimed at him, though your maneuvers are, you're somehow parrying their attacks.
Yeah, maybe we're like managing to get him like kind of in a position that's less surrounded, like against a wall or something.
That sounds good. Really, it really depends what you guys are trying to do. Because you are succeeding and they're failing.
Yeah, so I'm gonna help with Niels doing that, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna like try and get the prisoner just like against a wall and try to use Niels as covering fire to like divide people away. That's how I'm gonna help.
Alright. Did
So
Niels actually roll? I don't see anything.
I don't have Fido, but I have the +2 from the bow and maneuver.
So if you don't have a skill, so fighter is the one that's used for mice. Basically, because fighter is a physical skill, you use half of your health rounded down.
Okay.
It's rounded up, I think. It isn't torchbearer anyways.
I think it's down a mouse scallop. I'm not sure, but it could be worth double checking. It's
I believe
as
last
well.
time we attempted this, we decided that it's always round up. So unless we find it in the book that says round down, we'll go with round up. But that is included for the enemies.
My unskilled fighter is higher than my hunter.
And also add a 1d5, Brock. Really?
so fucking.
Wow. Okay. Well, he has.
Also, I'm helping you.
Yeah.
And also, you get 2 dice from the previous maneuver.
2 dice or 1 dice?
I'm hanging on to that one. Is it
Alright.
is it used instantly? The last maneuver? No, it's +2
it's always
dice on
the
your
next.
next action.
He gets. Okay, he gets +2 dice. Okay. Alright.
Alright then. 3 successes.
I don't think you. I don't know. Like I'm reading the cheat sheet thing. I don't think the dice carries through on the next because it says +2 dice on your next action.
Yeah, it has to be in the next action.
Yeah,
And
the
you-
next
like-
action,
like,
you can't
I read
really control.
I read your
Just
next
goes on.
action. So is it like your action on your disposition team?
It's as the team, and the next action is
That
Niels.
makes sense. Yeah.
Because it says your disposition as well.
Alright, and you're imposing a -1 die, right?
I get -1.
I have no clue
Well-
what's going on with this roll.
Basically, Pat, you gave him a +2, and the opponent a -1, correct?
I only gave him a +2.
Okay, I thought at some point you gave the opponent a -1. I must have misheard.
Oh, good.
So the 1d6 is from Celia, the 2d6 is from Pat, and the 5d6 is from Miles himself.
Alright, and here we go.
But how is 5d6 half your health?
3d6 is half my health.
Alright,
So where's
so
the other 2 come from?
it
where you're
From
ties.
the bow.
From what? Oh, from the bow. Okay, I'm on board. I'm on the trolley.
Okay. So it ties. What happens when a tie?
No effect.
No effects. Okay. That was a very interesting bit of combat.
You can
Tell
use
us. Yeah.
You can use a
Oh, you
trait to
can use-
break
yeah.
a tie in your opponent's favor. Or in your favor, I suppose. It's like 2 checks if you use a trait to like give somebody else a success on a tie.
Natural bear.
Isn't it 2 checks if he chooses to fail?
Yeah. Well, it would be. It says break a tie.
Yeah, break a tie in their favor. So
Yeah.
he would be failing and taking 1 disposition.
Yes.
But it's up to you, Brock. If you want to take the hit, you can take the hit.
I don't think I have any traits that I can apply.
Okay then. So, moving along. You took your action to help. Do you actually get your action or no?
Sorry? No. You can help on. It's kind of assumed that everyone is helping on every action, but they have to narrate it.
All right. I'm still trying to understand
that
the
goes for
system
them as
well
well.
enough. Yeah. Well, for the most part, they're all technically helping because they set up an entire ambush to attack you all at the same time.
Yeah, it's the reason why like fighting 5 mice is more difficult than fighting 1 mice. It's because they're getting like +4 dice on almost all of their actions.
Okay. So, it is your turn.
Yep.
By all means, tell us what you're doing.
So I'm just like, now that we've like backed up against the wall, I'm just like frantically just trying to like defend the prisoner however I can. What's everybody else doing? Because anything you're doing gives me a help die. It doesn't even matter if you're like helping me defend or not. It's just if you're participating in the combat, then you can give me a help die.
So, like, my defending of you, maneuvering in front of you, that gives you a help die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Sounds good. You will gain 1 from that. Anyone else?
So Quentin is, maneuvering around, knocking arrows into the bow, kind of, like putting them on a bit of a defensive as well, giving you a bit more time to breathe and react.
All right. Marcella?
I am drawing the giant weasel dagger.
I want to say that if Marcella's going to be swinging this thing, she's not really going to be able to help you, but she's still going to be as frightening as hell.
I could be menacing people away a little.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I will allow it for the menacing. If you fail, you're hit. I don't think they're going to be as afraid anymore, but yes. Okay.
What's their action?
Let's find out. Their action is... Oh! Okay.
Oh, no!
I kind of messed it up. I meant to put it last, but it's too late now, and I will totally accept the success of him just getting a chance to hit you, and you receive nothing from this.
Jesus. Well, there goes 8 dice.
That is. Oh, that's painful.
Yeah.
Right. Well, here's.
So how are they tricking me? Like how?
Okay. Well, so as you are attempting to move this mouse along, Geo calls out to him and says a rather odd line. He says the winters in Ashtonvale are rather warm during the spring. Literally makes no sense to you, but he's just frozen when he hears this. It must mean something to him. And as you're attempting to move, one of the mice goes up and manages to stab the prisoner in the back a little bit. And for 4. Your disposition is reduced by 4.
Okay.
That feel 4d6 for successes. Those motherfuckers.
Let's be honest, they could be doing so much more to you.
Yeah, if they were helping each other, that would.
Part of me wants to leave the rolls low because I don't seem to fail as often as you guys. Just because of the
Not
math.
as bad rolling as us.
I don't know. It makes no sense. When
sure it would've
I am a
fine
player,
with me.
my rolls are horrible. But when I'm a DM, my rolls are typically destroy the opponent rather easily.
That's how it works.
All right, Marcella, the prisoner was just stabbed. He's bleeding. He's on his like he's down to his knees. The fight is kind of moving away from you.
That just makes me want to fight them more.
There we go. I knew you'd choose attack, but I was also very hoping that we would get at least one attack in this volley.
We all know she was gonna attack.
Like, what else does she do? Let's be real.
Oh no! Oh, it's gonna give me agita.
All right.
I'm like, so like when the prisoner was stabbed in the back, I immediately pull him away, and if somebody else wants to jump in as like defending against that mouse, I'm gonna like sort of not treat the wound because obviously there's no time, but just kind of like, I guess I'm defending. I can't think of a quick
if
way.
you guys, if this round and he is not dead, you can go ahead and take your action first by defending against the first card that provides.
Yeah.
Alright.
All right. So this is pretty much it. This is the finding of the battle. They will get what they came here for if they get it full set of success, no matter how much damage you deal back. So, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Both of you are attacking. Both of you
Yeah,
are
what
attacking, so both of you deal damage to each other.
what did we decide would be the effect of me using the weasel blade?
Okay. So, it's technically a sword. So if you're using... Okay. For the most part, it's just flat fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's frightening as hell. And when you win hard. People are afraid of you when you swing this around. It's mostly... And also you're adding Foolish for an extra D1.
And then, would that count for the, when you have a sword, you can add 1 to whatever, 1 card type, or whatever, I think,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
If you want, I know in Torchbearer, the rules for a great sword is you roll 1 less die for attack, but you actually get 1 automatic success, so it's a little bit better.
You know what? We can definitely use that. Sound okay with everyone else?
Yeah, sounds cool.
Alright. So you have
Keep in
1
mind that
less
I'm
die,
helping.
but 1 is automatically a success. So
And-
it's fighter -1, but one of them is already a success.
I'm also helping. With what I narrated earlier.
Okay, so then do I add 1 more for the assist?
Yes.
Yeah. Do any others want to help?
I don't think in like flavor Quentin. I think Quentin would be like using the arrows to help Celia.
That still counts. It's only
Does
if
it? Is it all
participating
like?
in
Is
the
it?
battle.
Yeah. Then I guess in like I guess Quentin's moving around, knocking arrows, shooting at people. I guess would offer aid as
What
well.
I want to say though is, because you are taking a defensive action, Celia, you may not be helping her in this combat because of that.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Because
I
it's
think
mainly
that-
because you're defending. Is like you can't really be helping her to attack if you are taking essentially a different kind of action.
It's not that I'm helping her action, it's that I'm helping in the combat in general. Like, if I was not there, then she would have more, like, heat on her. I'm going off the rules I read in Torchbearer, but basically what they wanted was for everyone to describe what they're doing each action, even if it's not, like, every action everybody's kind of pitching together.
I think the like everyone helping in the combat also makes a big difference when you have like number disadvantages or advantages.
Yeah.
Alright then, we can definitely keep going. If there are issues later on, we'll address them as needed.
So should
So
I...
right now you have +2.
Oh,
Yes.
but I'm just looking it up now. It says, during the conflict, up to 2 members can help the acting mouse on an action roll. That is
2.
different.
So
Okay.
max is 2. So that's what you have. So it's based on your fighter stat right now.
Yeah,
What is your fighter stat?
5.
Alright, so it'd be 4 plus 2. And 1 is automatically success. So, there you go. Alright, so that is 4 back as you hit them rather hard and they reduce.
Actually, that's a weird rule.
Attempt to adjust this. What's weird about it now?
Well, because that means that even though there are 5 of them, it means that still only 2 of them can help. And from what I'm reading, you can't actually, like, I think you might have to actively help in like an action for it to work.
Well, that was my original assumption.
Yeah, sorry, I just assumed that the conflict rules were the same as Torchbearer. My bad.
There you go. They have 66 disposition because it's hilarious.
Disposition, though, everybody does help. I know that much.
Alright, like I said, we'll make adjustments as needed. We're still figuring out the system.
Yeah,
So,
I shouldn't have brought it up in the middle of combat, anyways.
Yeah, it's fine, man. Like, we're gonna bring it up eventually. Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna delete all the cards on the table and we'll get around to doing it again.
I'm gonna wait until Jack chooses his actions before I choose which action I'm gonna move on. Because I don't want him to know when I'm gonna defend.
That will definitely sound okay. You can do that. Okay. So, the main thing that comes up is also you're currently at 2 disposition until you defend.
Oh, God. Yeah. Alright.
Alright, so... Kinda already dealt the damage. They still need to confirm a kill. But not really in danger. Okay. Alright then.
Can I go second?
You can go at any point you desire to go. Also, I'm going to delete this last one. There we go.
I'm gonna, I don't know, like there's no way you can tabletop what. Okay, it's like I know what Quinton's going to do here.
Well, technically, all of you could defend and just not go down.
Yeah, but can I take the second action?
Did I place that card? Shit.
Okay. Let's go one at a time. Celia, what were you trying to do?
I'd just like to go in the second action.
Yeah, you can. Just go ahead and place it there.
If Niels is cool with that. Yeah.
Niels will do whatever the fuck he's told.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay,
Pat,
so
you are
Quinton
first.
Yeah, so Quinton's going to kind of like his bow's going to kind of drop, and he's going to kind of draw his sword, and he's going to kind of just kind of call out, kind of like playfully. He says, "I spent an afternoon with kids who hit harder than you," and he's going to kind of spring out from where he was, kind of into the foray as to where they are kind of swarming around us. I'm going to use the sword's bonus for my action, and I'm going to reveal my card. Defense. So Quinton is trying to basically pull as much kind of, I guess, heat or attention onto himself and away from the prisoner and away from his friends.
Okay. Well, as you draw the attention and try to do that, they are apparently as well regrouping and attempting to stand at the ready should anything occur. So they're all independent and they all
so
gain
we just get a
separately.
flat heal then. Okay. Is anyone going to aid or help?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Where, like, since the prisoner's kind of been like fallen on the ground, I'm gonna like make sure, or he's been stabbed, I should say. I'm going to sort of sit him down so he doesn't make the wound any worse while they're backing off, and I'm just gonna like stand in front of him with like my staff kind of terrified. So I'm also defending the prisoner.
Okay, so with Celia helping,
There you go.
I am going to. Quentin is going to spend a fate point to re-roll those 2 6s as well. I'm hoping to get 2 more successes.
Alright.
You're gonna re-roll the 6s.
Isn't it still ruling that you can't go beyond your max, or can you still
Yes,
go
we're at
beyond?
5, so 5 plus 2 takes us to 7, and I got 1 success on the re-rolled 6. We're back up to 8.
Alright.
Well,
Yes.
it's actually a versus test in defend.
Is it a verse? I think it's
yeah.
It's independent. Defend versus defend.
independent.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I was thinking maneuver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That works out for us.
Yeah, so Quentin's going to kind of jump into the middle of them, kind of throwing his sword around, trying to kind of parry as many blows as he can, just kind of get the attention off the rest of the group.
Alright.
And we're back up to full.
Everyone regroups and are ready for the next round, as it is now Celia's turn.
Yeah, I am also defending.
It's almost like it didn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was do it, but like I felt like when you went I wanted to go second, I felt bad. Like I couldn't tabletop it, so I'm like.
Yeah, it's fine. It makes sense that in a situation where you're in danger, that more than one person would defend.
Well, I think you know when somebody's gonna move next. Like I don't think that's really tabletopping. Because I was just the reason I wanted to go second was because I thought if I went first, he was gonna faint.
Alright, you can go ahead and roll your defense. I mean, the only thing that can happen is if you roll less than a 3, you'll take 1 damage.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Quentin, in like the thick of it and drawing like attention away from it, might be able to offer aid.
In this situation, it would.
Anyone else?
I think Niels is definitely helping Celia defend here.
Okay. How?
I haven't flipped my card yet. I feel like I don't know.
Well, you're really just narrating, so you
Yeah,
don't have
okay.
to directly tell me what you're doing.
What? Okay, yeah. So Niels, feeling closed in on, he's going to drop his bow and draw his sword and like, I don't know, fucking tackle this dude that just stabbed our dude. And
Sorry about that. Yeah, like one of my neighbors really likes muscle cars.
Who doesn't?
You know, me in the middle of the night.
So I'm getting help from both those two.
Yes, sounds like it.
There we go.
So 3 to 3, it, still did nothing.
Yes.
Alright, Niels, it's your turn. As you are trying to draw the attention of the enemy, you are right there in the thick of it.
yeah, so I'm just trying to get the prisoner and Celia from this onslaught.
Did everyone defend? Is that a thing?
Maybe.
Marcella won't.
I don't think Marcella would have.
Marcella's the only one who won't be defending.
Celia is gonna shout, "I've got the prisoner."
Alright,
Drive
so moving along, nothing happens. Marcella, what are you doing?
Da 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 da.
What a surprise, guys! What a big surprise.
It's a shock. I know.
Actually, well, I guess we'll leave it. But I originally intended the last one to be a maneuver. I don't know why it's attack, but I will leave it as attack because that's what's on the board.
All right.
All right.
Now we're gonna get knocked down to 0 disposition. Everyone's gonna defend again. Celia's making it clear that
I know.
So-
It's like,
Here's the
going
thing.
first.
Marcella, you catch sight of the 5th guy who has been been holding back this entire time as he pulls out the same black bow from the night before as he raises his shot, and he seems to be, though obviously he's shooting at you, he is clearly looking at Quinn right now.
Motherfucker.
He's
Oh
still
my-
there. I'm gonna go ahead and, like, everyone's gonna be aiding this guy. He wants to get this shot on you.
Oh my god.
They like helping him hold the bow.
Yeah.
Holding his head.
The
holding his
the
back.
most realistic answer is that they essentially pulled back so that he could get a clear shot at you guys.
The
He's
whispering
got a
sweet
guy
nothings, like to his
testing
ear, like,
speed.
"No, good shot. You'll be okay."
You got this, baby.
Yeah.
He's got fucking killing.
All right. So
Body these fools. Body these fools. Yeah.
both of
Yo,
you.
Jensen, body these fools.
Okay. Here's his attack. Let's see if he works or not. Nah, not he's not this good this time around. Maybe you really need more help than that. Celia, go ahead.
Me.
Oh, not
Marcella.
Celia. Sorry, Marcella.
Do I have any assistance of any sort?
I'm gonna say no because they're all busy defending.
That thing. Yeah. So that means
Yeah.
just 4.
Yeah, just your 4 dice.
But then 1 immediate success.
Yes, plus 1 success.
Uh,
Okay, well you succeed better to him and deal 4 damage to him while you guys receive 3.
It's fine. Just 3 damage.
Doesn't matter.
All right, they're currently
That's
at 4. I'm gonna drop because for some reason I can't edit the numbers. I don't know why.
I can't either. They just decided that they didn't want any of it.
Like I can delete it and replace it, but I can't edit, which is so annoying.
Yeah. I think they also gained 1 disposition from a defend earlier. And I kept trying to edit it, but I couldn't.
Yeah. No, that's included. Because they had 7, and then reduced by 3, which is 4. Alright. Alright then. You guys going back into your normal positions, or what?
Not
Maybe
telling
we're
you.
just like disguising which one we're gonna be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah,
metagame
I've-
us.
I've made it clear to my friends and enemies that I will be defending. I do not want to give away when a feint would be appropriate.
So I'm just gonna wait for Dylan to place his card wherever he's gonna be.
Okay, well I'm done.
Can I go 4th? Because I know he expects me to go 3rd. 2nd isn't useful. 1 is too risky.
Sure, guys.
You're telling him now. He can hear you.
I,
He
well,
knows he's already
I'm
chosen. his
done.
things.
I'm set.
Yeah.
I'm totally not gonna delete them and start over.
Yeah. So can I go in there, Megan?
Yeah.
After me spending so much time making her image fit that little square.
It is rather impressive.
Are you having trouble, Megan?
Yeah, sorry, my computer's like friggin' not loading things.
No. Well, it's getting there.
There we
So
go.
also 1 extra card.
Yeah.
Well, it can be deleted. If somebody's action is incorrect, then surprise.
Well,
Surprise action.
there you go. So, Quentin, that
As soon
guy
as
just
Quentin
he just took a
sees
shot
the
at you.
motherfucker. No, yeah. As soon as they part ways, Quentin just runs, just like spears towards the. As soon as they like part ways, like the fucking I don't know, like. As soon as the mouse steps to the side, is getting a clean shot. Quentin's gonna kind of break into a sprint towards him, kind of seeing an opportunity form, kind of using their pathing and spreading out as an opportunity for himself. So he's gonna kind of just sprint towards this individual sword bear, and he wants to. It's pretty obvious here. He wants to attack. He wants to fuck you. He wants to fuck this guy up. Okay, Quentin.
And
I'm gonna go
as
ahead.
you rush in, one of the other mice will run up in an attempt to prevent your progress forward at him. He's trying to stop your charge. So he rushes at you as well.
Do I have any aids?
Yes, you do.
I think everyone
What are
will
you guys doing?
attempt to aid you
What are you
here.
doing?
Marcella also, seeing that, wants to make sure that you have your path to him, so she's trying to help clear the crowd with her attacks.
She's just waving that thing around like a crazy person.
I'm probably not.
Crazy person with skill.
Foolish crazy
The
person.
worst kind.
Foolish, skilled, crazy person. Niels is probably not like completely aware of what's going on, like behind him, but he is engaged in combat with at least one of these mice. So he's keeping one of them off your back, bro.
Okay. Quentin's gonna spend his last persona point, and I'm gonna tap my already tapped nature. And Quentin's gonna go Nova. So
Alright. You, reduce your nature by 1 because you are using it to attack. That's
That
5
is Nova.
successes. That's, well, then you could also fix that 6 to another attempt, but
is attack versus defense? Is it verse?
Yeah.
it is first. So,
Classic versus. So if they need to
If
get
you-
at least 2 successes.
so
Okay, Quentin's
yeah,
going to
sure,
I'm gonna tap again. I'm gonna spend a what is it? A fate point. So I have no
Alright.
persona left. Tap a fate
So
point.
if
reroll
you
this.
get at least 2, maybe 3.
Alright,
Okay,
Nope.
well, it didn't succeed.
5
Okay.
successes, I believe.
So it's 5 against theirs. So they need a good number of successes, or they can lose right now. And they get 3 successes.
Ooh.
I believe they're holding at 1. They are. Well,
They
actually,
take 2.
They take
So
2.
they're at 2.
Yeah, they're at 2.
Yeah, so Quentin kind of just jumps to the guy, kind of wanting to try and get revenge, tries to cut his bowstring with his sword.
You go up, you take a swing, you cut down his bow. He looks rather upset.
Quentin wants to try and kind of circle around him like a predator would, kind of putting himself not between him, like the guy and his fucking comrades. It's kind of circling like the far side around him, kind of pointing his sword
You've
towards him,
essentially.
challenging. That's
You're
what
not
Quentin's
really out of. You haven't really separated yourself from combat from the 2 different ones, but you're kind of there, and the other mice are not going to interrupt this kind of like solo bout between you and him.
Neither can we.
All right, Niels, your turn.
Alright, after totally bodying, well, he hasn't bodied him yet, after body slamming this fool who was messing with our prisoner, the guy that just stabbed him, I slam into him, and now I wanna mess him up. I want to ruin his day. Stain his shirt red.
And you cut him down. You
What?
should be able to cut him down. You should be.
You gotta get 2 successes.
That's it.
Oh my god,
You only
dude.
have to succeed twice.
All you need is
Niels.
If you can't, that's like the worst outcome.
Alright, so
He doesn't have a fight skill, so...
I'm
gonna do the-
It's possible.
I'm gonna do +1. So it'll be 3. So +1 with a sword. How do I tap nature and fade?
You spend one
spend a
fate,
persona point.
or
So
what's a persona?
spend 1 persona point, and you reduce your nature by 1, and you add your nature to the number of dice you roll.
Add my nature to the number of dice I roll.
Yes.
That many dice.
That many dice. So if you have a nature of 3, roll 3 extra dice.
What?
I have a nature of 5.
Okay, then you're rolling 5 extra dice, not just 5.
So you just type 3 + 1 + 5?
I was just writing that to so I did forget how many dice I was rolling.
Oh, I
okay,
see.
so
That's not my roll.
I still don't really get it. I thought your fighter was 0, and then you added your health, which was 1, and then the
Half of my
sword,
health,
which was
is
2.
3.
It becomes 3 at that point? Okay.
Yeah, half of my health is 3, and the +1 is from the sword.
Alright.
nature can be used to substitute any ability that doesn't have. I think you actually have all of the dice, not just your health.
What's that?
Yeah, total up the dice for the ability Wise's help and gear. Make the test using half that number rounded up. So like,
so half. Okay.
yeah. So it actually affects like your modifiers as well. Because otherwise, I was
Oh.
like, man, beginner's luck is not that bad.
Yeah. So, how does it work again?
So, what's so you're getting 5 from your nature. You're getting 1. What are you getting the 1 from, Brock?
Sword.
The sword.
6. And then what's your health?
My health is 6.
Okay. Hold up.
Okay, so
So-
you'd be rolling 6 dice.
Yeah, it's
Because
So
it's
1,
that
2,
that 6 plus 6 is 12.
3,
And then
4. 4 successes, I think.
Okay, hold up. Let me try. Okay, I'm not getting it right now, so I'm taking a look at it right now. So let's see. Kent Neal's sheet. So he tapped nature, and his nature is 5. So he's adding 5 extra dice. He
Yeah.
would be using fighter, but he doesn't have that stat.
yeah,
So he instead is using health or wisdom.
health.
He's using health, which is 3. So he has 3 plus 5, which is 8 dice. Didn't he just roll 8 dice? He rolled 6. He rolled 9 dice.
And then he gets 1 from his sword. Okay, and then you have that, so you should be rolling 5 dice.
Didn't he just roll 5 dice from nature?
He rolled 96.
Okay,
Because
so
beginner's
it's-
luck, you have the dice. Because what it looks like is it's his nature of 5, it's his health of 3, it's his gear of 1 to make that, and then because it's beginner's luck, you divide the whole thing by 2.
Yeah.
So it'll be
5
Oh.
dice. Yeah, you're right.
5.
Okay then. So he's rolling only 5 dice. So if we take only the first 5, which would be 4 successes.
Yeah. Which is still enough to demolish them.
Yes, it is.
So
I drive my sword down this mouse's back, and I rip it out, and his blood sprays all over the wall, and they just get a little bit scared.
Jesus. Okay.
So in the advancement, do I advance my nature and health when I do this?
I think when it comes to using beginner's luck, I'm pretty sure I read, you put a little tick next to the skill. So, for example, put a tick next to the fighter skill, and every time you use beginner's luck for fighter, when you eventually have a fighter like enough ticks equal to your nature score of 5, it then advances, and then you have like fighter 2. I don't think you tick nature and health and stuff, because it's not a roll for that. There's like substitutes being used in it.
Yeah. Nature, health, and will, they can't really go up. They can go down, though.
Yeah, okay.
Alright then. I think that's... Well, combat is over. Your goal was to capture Geo. Their goal was to kill the prisoner. They did manage to wound him, and I believe that's going to be your disposition. Another thing, the main thing to bring up is, technically Geo has never been anywhere near this fight. The question of how you catch him, it's kind of hard to get around the fact that you still succeeded, but obviously Geo's not even here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Should we chase him?
Yeah. I mean,
It's
like, it could be like, our success is that, his guards are now gone or his ponies are gone, and it's like a clear path is to him now. We kind of give chase.
I mean, you said he has like a wooden fucking leg or something?
No, that was
Was
the
that a-
beekeeper.
Oh, right. I was gonna say, he can't run very fast.
The beekeeper has the wooden leg. Geo is fine. He just has a walking stick. Or not, he even uses
He's got a walking
the
stick.
Well, it doesn't look like he's using it, he just has it.
Okay.
It's more like, hey, you want to fight me? Here's a blade cane.
You
Stabby,
have to
stabby.
use it soon, don't worry.
Alright.
I have a iron rod with me.
You already left the prison. Why are you taking the iron rod with you?
Because I am the mouse god, and I am tyrant.
Yep, there it is. There you said it. That was explanation, everybody. I did it.
Okay. So,
So the compromise was that just the prisoner was injured.
the prisoner was injured, and realistically, the ones you were fighting managed to be caught, including the one who originally got away earlier. Pat, to your satisfaction, he's there. He's caught all over again. And Gio is attempting to make his way out, but the main thing comes up is, do you still want to capture Gio, or do you want to just grab these guys who are already here? Guys, you could split up, but obviously, when you split up, you have run into issues before splitting up.
I don't think Quentin would feel comfortable splitting up, knowing that townsfolk are not necessarily to be trusted, and I think Quentin is going to look towards the others and kind of just start kind of, I guess, trying to tie some up or subduing them.
I kind of like look panicked at Quentin, but I kind of accept his judgment call, and I'm gonna like bend down and start treating the wound of the prisoner.
Go ahead and roll healer.
Sure.
And that is
I'm going to
against
check.
Injured.
Yeah, I'm going to check against fearful here because I just have like post-combat shakes. Like I'm not able to like. I'm not doing a very good job of patching them up because I'm like jittering and stuff.
You're also tired.
That's disposition. That's not actually rolling.
Oh, actually, doesn't it come into play here while we're trying to patch him up?
Nah,
based on what it says in the character
just
sheet, no.
conflicts. Yeah.
I know for
okay.
Torchbearer, it increases the ob of everything by 1, which is brutal. But Mouse Guard is a bit less brutal, so.
Okay, I'm trying to check the challenge rating for injured. I guess because you're a healer, Mouse, it's succeeding no matter what. Or
I think it's 3 is the ob for.
I'm trying to find it now. I don't see it. Injured. A guard puts their life on the line every day, often injures. At first, don't take guard mass out of action, but they reduce his overall effectiveness. Being
It's in the
injured
healer
imposes
skill.
Okay, under healer?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna trust you because I can't find it. Injured. Make an ob of health 4. That's for him to heal himself. Okay, I'm not gonna keep looking. Go ahead and make the roll.
Okay.
For the most part, I don't think you'll fail. You have everything to your advantage here.
Well, I'm only rolling 4 dice. Yeah, treatment, injured, ob 3.
Okay.
Oh. Yep.
Oh, okay. So
3 ones.
you, as you examine the wound, you find that it's a lot deeper than you originally expected. If you tap resources and spend the night working on this guy's wounds, you think you could save him, but you would lose money and you would be tired the next morning.
Yeah, I say, I need my medical equipment, and I need this. We're not gonna be able to find that till tomorrow, and I've gotta take care of him for just like tonight. So it'd have to be in the morning. He's gonna make it till then, but like, is he not able to like give us information?
He is fading in and out. He's barely holding the consciousness.
Yeah, and we can't get anything out of him like this.
Quentin's gonna kind of just like kind of curse down towards the ground, kind of rub his chin forward. He's just gonna shake his head, and he says, "The other patrols of the Mouse Guard in this clearing need to be made aware of what happened here. We're still not out of the woods yet. I guess Quentin's going to kind of hopefully turn to one of the people. Ideally the one who shot his bowstring clean, and kind of put a firm grasp on his shoulder. Kind of just say, so is there anything you want to tell us?
You know what? What is the name of the continent you guys are currently on?
I don't know, but I know the the land kingdom is called. It's referred to as like the territories.
Okay, well then he just says honor to the territories, and then just doesn't say anything after that. He also kind of stops moving.
Kind of stops moving.
Yes.
Is he alive?
I'm gonna say you're kind of busy, but it's not hard to tell that he definitely looks dead now.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
He
Can
chose
I have a look at him?
death rather than... Well, technically he's still defeat, but he chose death over defeat.
Quentin's gonna call up Celia, like a tone of kind of concern. Says, Celia, I think he's kind of like putting like a hand to the individual's neck. I'm not sure if it'll track a pulse.
Yeah, I'll rush over, and maybe this isn't a roll, but I'll just check for a pulse. Maybe see if he's like swallowed a cyanide capsule. If I can induce vomiting in that case, that'd be nice.
You see the
heart's not
external
super
wound.
into it,
It's very likely he did swallow something, but if he's already not breathing, it's kind of hard to save him without giving up the time you would need to save the prisoner you're trying to save.
Yeah. I just kind of like shake my head. Swallowed something. I don't think it's gonna make it.
Quentin's gonna kind of look over to the others that they have subdued, and look over to Marcella and Niels. Say, give him a thorough check. He's gonna kind of move over to one as well, see if he can, I guess, open the mouth of one, so kind of see anything in there.
One of them will, at some, when you start checking their mouths, say that they don't carry anything like that.
And Quentin's just gonna, I guess, kind of turn to the group and says, we should take them back to the guard, as in the prison. We'll lock them in there for tonight, deal with them in the future, when we have room to think and process what the hell just transpired here.
Yeah. Need to cheat after the prisoner. And like Celia herself is dead tired at this stage. So likely needs some sleep as well.
I think Quentin's going to move to the individual who shot his bowstring off, and he's going to kind of put a hand over his face and kind of close his eyes and kind of just say, very well fought, friend. And he's going to kind of pick up his bow, and he's going to sling him kind of like over his shoulder and try and kind of just carry him to the prisoner guard.
Like a sad.
I think Quentin wants to take his bow as like a memoir of him.
If you remember, I believe someone cut his bow earlier.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I wanted to cut the bowstring in particular. I said, as well as like a poetic fuck you again.
Yeah, you have his bow, but the string was cut because it was cut during battle already.
I think Quentin will want to explain about how this guy nailed his bow. Yeah, I think each one. Yeah.
All right. Well, for the most part, nothing else will occur for the subsequent events. You guys take these men to the prison. Everything calms down. The event proceeds as you would expect. Nothing else goes wrong, and your first mission, though not exactly as you expected, does seem to be a success.
So there was no incident during the festival?
Well, you captured the men who were doing it. Their supposed weasels were going to be an issue, but without anyone to support them, they apparently did not make their way into the, made their way in, No reason to go in completely unarmed.
But why is Walking Stick Dude working with the weasels? This is not over.
Yeah, can we investigate this? And also, what did the prisoner tell us?
So you you tap your resources and spent. You are currently tired, right?
Well, are we going into player turn? Because that'll make things simpler.
Technically, when you're speaking to the prisoner, it will be the GM turn because you still have to spend your turn just to, keep them alive.
Well,
actually,
I don't know what's happening. Are we? So we're.
So, well, basically, I'm just saying that nothing's going to happen during the rest of the festival. If you guys want to continue,
Yeah.
As the festival is going on peacefully without your added assistance, you guys can question the prisoner and then proceed after that.
Okay.
So, if you guys want to ask some questions, go ahead. He does eventually wake up.
I think Quentin would kind of encourage Celia to find what she can about it. I think Quentin wants to be in the festival. So his goal here is obviously making sure the festival is sufficient in recruiting some more mice. And I feel like dealing with what we did obviously kind of neutralized what they had in store, but he still wants to kind of be at the festival keeping watch just in case.
Yeah.
So I don't think Quentin would be there for the questioning. He would kind of leave it in Celia's capable hands and go keep watching the festival.
Okay. Celia, since you're the only one who seems to be around, what exactly are you asking him? He still seems rather weak, but he's able to answer questions.
Well, it's good to see that you're awake. Do you want to let us know who those people were?
He gives you their names. Realistically, the only one that stands out to you is Gio, who kind of introduced himself the first time around.
Hmm. And what do the weasels have to do with all this?
He tells you that the weasels... Sorry, I'm getting a message. Okay, well, I'll just take care of that. Okay, so, what he's telling you is that they are not working with the weasels. They're actually... The shipment is coming from someone other than them who is being shipped to the weasels, and they were trying to intercept them.
So then why did your comrades attack us?
They say that the mouse guard is with the weasels. Well, he says it anyway.
Like, my eyebrows are both raised. That's what your faction believes.
He nods.
I like sigh and kind of rub my eyes a bit. So then, what happened in the apiary? Why was the wall broken?
He sighs and takes a breath. Says that the weasels came in and attacked. We had to pull them away before they started things before we were ready. And he takes another breath.
This is crazy. The mouse guard fight against the weasels all of the time. If a weasel was in here, then we would have been... It would be our duty to try to stop them. That's what we're doing with you.
For most part, he just looks at you. It's like he believes what he's just said, and he's just looking at you, like he's kind of just accepted this.
So then, Gio, is he a leader in your faction?
He nods.
Celia just kind of like looks down, and she's got like her hands like on her face, and she's just kind of like rubbing it. Why can't we work together, though? Even if this wasn't just the mouse guard. Do things have to be this difficult? She seems like really distressed about this.
He attempts to reach for your hand, pulls you close, and he says, "Do not trust the mouse guard." And then he doesn't actually fall asleep, but he kind of just lays back down and looks away from you.
I stand up and I say, "What are you going to do now? Now that you're free?"
He doesn't look at you, but he says that he's gonna go home. What's left of it.
And where is that?
Okay, 1 sec. So, a question I brought up the first time we were playing is the question of... Okay, so the Weasel territory is technically beyond the scent border to the west. So, he will eventually tell you that he is from one of the cities along the edge of the border, but we haven't really decided on which area has the most conflict or the biggest issues. And he's going to tell you whatever city that is when we determine it later. So, like, the city that you know used to have a lot of conflict. And theoretically, it's better now, but it's not, you know, it hasn't really ended the situation. It's better, but it's not over.
Okay.
So he's essentially from a somewhat war-torn city along the scent border.
I pause for a moment and I say, "Can I visit sometime?"
He sighs and says nothing.
Is there anything else you need before you go on your way?
He shakes his head.
I crouch down and say, "Thank you at least for trying to fight the weasels." And I try to give like a smile, and if he's got any shackles on him, I release them. And
You probably did that like when you were doing surgery. It really gets in the way.
I stand up and walk away.
Alright.
I will try to pass my worries within the festival. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna find Niels just to make sure, because that's my instinct now. Always keep an eye on Niels.
I will say you haven't really been following it, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's more for situations where he's by me. Like, it's gonna be difficult for him to like sneak away. Yeah, I'm gonna try to find him, make sure he's not in too much trouble. What are you up to, Niels?
I'm literally inside a wheel of cheese.
Accepted. There's a giant wheel of cheese that is a big attraction at the festival.
I was gonna say, when Celia goes to talk to the prisoner, could Marcella talk to Niels really quick? But if he's real busy with that cheese, that's...
Well,
That's it,
you know, Marcella, you have to be there to cut the cheese. You're the only one with the giant knife.
That's so true.
Oh,
God.
yeah, go for it.
Alright. Niels.
Yeah? Hello?
You did well in the ambush. And before you get cocky about it, it's because you weren't selfish. And you helped your team and you worked with your team.
Can I say I'm a team player?
Not always, from what I've seen. But if you keep it up, and you do like you did today, I take back my previous thoughts that there's no place for you here, and maybe you will have a place on the guard.
Sorry, what'd you say at the end? A place at the...
On the guard.
Oh. He just smiles and he gives you a wink.
She rolls her eyes and slowly lifts the weasel dagger and just shakes her head and walks away.
Now, when did you say this to me? Did you, like, come into the Wheel of Cheese, or did you say this before I was in the Wheel of Cheese?
Probably just before you were in the Wheel of Cheese.
Like,
You were on your way. You were on your way to the
Yeah,
Wheel of Cheese.
you just heard about the Wheel of Cheese being rolled out. This is way before.
Okay, cool.
Should we do player turns for the rest of the festival?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Alright, so everyone has one check, including any checks you had, you know, while taken while you were actually in combat, essentially. Which I don't think any of you do.
I've got 3. I took 2. I took 1 for healing the guy, and 1 for generous for not being able to. With the bug situation is all I'm gonna say.
Alright, so going from left to right, Quentin, what are you doing?
Okay, so Quentin's going to spend his trait trying to, I guess, retouch and I guess continue the kind of, I guess, playful sparring and banter he was having with some of the youths of the the festival, the nearby villages, and probably like he really just wants to kind of, I guess, maybe like have a bit of a talk to their parents, just kind of explain the importance of the mouse guard. I guess like he doesn't want to steal the kids away and have them fight each other in a fucking pit somewhere in the corner of the festival. He wants to kind of he wants to make it kind of like a bit public and a bit like a show of the guards, I guess, kind of kit. He would in particular probably try and track down the particularly strong mouse who hit Quentin, and he'll kind of maybe give a couple kind of private pointers to him as well.
Okay.
And I think when Quentin, like when we actually end up leaving the festival, I'll say this now, Quentin would give him his old bow, I think.
Oh, very nice. Okay,
So I think Quentin might kind of move on from swordplay to a bit of archery with the kids perhaps, and Quentin will probably let this particular child keep his bow afterwards.
okay. His name is Cole.
Cool, love it. Okay.
Alright. He definitely thanks you and says that he...
Is he a monk?
No, he is not a
Kid
monk.
wolf.
He is a little round and short, yes.
Love it. Yeah, Quentin. Yeah, that's kind of. I guess what Quentin's going to be doing, just spending a bit of time. I guess kind of doing a bit of playing around, keeping a watchful eye out. People, if there's any kind of issues or people raising voices, he'll go investigate. But for the most part, it's kind of just wanting to just muck around, relax.
Yeah, for the most part, it seems rather calm. Realistically, if we needed to fight, I can always throw out the drunken mice fight that we kind of skipped over last time. Okay, so moving along. Niels, what are you doing in a giant wheel of cheese, apparently?
Niels is probably just...
What isn't he doing in the giant wheel of cheese?
What am I not doing? I definitely am having a nice little drink. Not too much, but I'm enjoying myself. And probably gonna take a nap inside the cheese. Just a little, like a little nook somewhere deep within the wheel.
Alright then. Yeah, you find a nice little soft spot inside the center, take a nap, and you'll be eventually woken up at a later point in the day when the bulk of the cheese has been eaten away. Alright. Well, Twitch is not actually a character in the game, but he's there. So Twitch is going to sit there and comment and complain about the things we do. And Celia, what about you?
The first thing that I want to do is I want to visit the mayor. Where can I find him?
As far as you're aware, he didn't leave his house. He kind of just stayed there.
Okay, well, I'll knock on the door.
When you knock, you hear a large man's voice asking, "Who is it?"
It's Celia from the patrol that saw you very late last night.
Eventually, he goes through the process of unlocking the door and taking a look at you. Eventually, he does let you in, and the mayor is rather distraught. He's back at his like little workspace, signing papers and just looking through like photos.
Well, I just thought that I'd let you know that everything's fine. There was no... It turns out that the investigation into the weasels was nothing big. They were just trying to disrupt the supply chain of the weasels, and there was a bit of a misunderstanding. There wasn't really anything bad going on. There was a miscommunication, and I've made sure that it won't happen again, but further measures will need to be taken. I don't think anything is going to happen to interrupt the festival. I say that with a smile.
He looks rather depressed and upset about something. He doesn't really make eye contact, and he continues staring through the photos.
I'm going to, like, sort of lean down with a smile, and I'm going to try and get, like, a read on his character. And I'll say, it's a good festival. It's going well, yes?
Okay, let's see. No, I don't want to make this game look super depressed. Let's not do that. So, it's up to you. Do you succeed or fail?
Well, I'm basically pursuing my belief where I want to shine goodness. Like, I want to cheer the mayor up. Like, I want to tell him it's like, it's going great. People are having fun, and they're laughing. Nothing bad happens. And nothing will continue to happen so long as the guard is
He
still here.
pulls out a piece of paper and reads a line, which, you know, the winters in, I don't remember the name of the place, it's rather warm in the spring.
Celia kind of like continues to smile, but then like her smile fades. Where did you get that?
He hands you the paper.
I'm gonna read it.
It consists of Gio having kidnapped his wife and possible son. Because I didn't really decide on a family member for yet. I'm gonna go with daughter to simplify things.
I'm just like frozen, staring at the piece of paper. I'm sorry. We'll find Gio immediately. We'll get your wife back.
All he does is ask you to leave.
I'm going to leave the paper and leave. Kind of distraught. Should that be my check?
You have more checks, but yes, that is one of your checks.
Yeah.
All right.
Marcella.
Everyone laughed. Make it less stressful and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't know about this yet, so
No.
you introduce yourself.
To be honest, I didn't expect any of you to come back to find that out.
I was gonna ask at the end of the festival, but it was good. I just didn't have as many checks as I wanted to at the end.
Okay.
I've got 2 more, which I'm willing to donate. I kind of want to
okay.
find a way. I'm probably not going to recover from tired, am I?
You
I haven't slept.
technically can't. You just rest. Like, well, the issue with tires, you have to actually rest, and
You could
You
find
would-
like a
on your
massage
last
tent
one.
at the festival. Well, they have like these
What?
tiny fucking leeches that, like, you know, they drink away all the bad blood.
I think in response to this, Celia's just like running herself ragged. Like, this is her responsibility to kind of make everybody enjoy themselves, and getting your wife kidnapped is royally fucking that up.
yeah.
So, I don't think there's going to be a chance.
To be honest, I was wondering if you guys were ever going to do that, and apparently one of you did.
Kidnap his wife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like Neil's territory to me.
But yeah, so when it comes around, technically, Celia, you can donate your check to someone else, but you have to be there with them. So your character is going with them to do whatever they're doing. So
Yeah.
Marcel, what are you doing?
I'd say that just kind of wandering the festival would probably come across Quentin's little sparring thing and join in, but probably looking for slightly older, like definitely of the age that they could try to become tender paws and just like, hey, like, do I have a serious sparring match? Ooh, look at this really awesome weasel dagger. Yeah.
I'll cut you up real good with it.
If you want, one of them does actually say they want to like have a spar. Realistically, you would probably beat them rather single-handedly. But
Yeah.
it's up to you. It essentially be that one roll, like when you fought the old guy the first session.
Yeah.
All right. You're gonna swing with that greatsword?
No, because I'll tell them that as impressive as it is, it's more important to be proud of your status and your heritage as a mouse, and you don't need the show of anything else.
Alright. I was just gonna make the statement that you technically could use foolish as a negative and get a check.
Nah.
Alright. I think, you know what? Okay, it ends in a tie. You're holding back, and they can clearly tell that you're holding back, but...
That was...
I didn't roll.
Oh, okay. I thought that one was you, but okay. Then you're
No.
you're about to trounce them.
Yeah. Probably. Oh no.
Oh, wow, you just let a kid beat you.
Yeah.
And a 5d6, you weren't holding back. Not really. So, yeah. You're sitting there with your sword and you're parrying the first couple of hits, and he gets a really good one onto your side, and then another to the other side, and then before you're able to like parry the next attack, you just like fall over. And he just like walks up, like leans down and looks at you and says, Are you alright? As the entire crowd kind of just like stares at you. Hello?
I just grab the weapons and walk away. Like, I get myself up and I just leave. Like, I don't look like I'm even there anymore.
Alright then. And I believe that is... Okay, does anyone have more checks other than Celia here? Anyone?
Nope.
Alright, Celia, what do you want to do? You're the only one with any checks remaining.
I'm just quickly checking because I think there's a way you can actually spend checks to like quickly heal yourself. Like you can actually heal yourself in the GM turn of a trait if you spend I think 2 checks. Yeah, recover quickly. You may buy a recovery test in GMs for the cost of 2 checks. Yeah, so I might.
Well, that's during the GM's turn. That's the idea of you quickly healing
Oh yeah, you're right.
outside of a player turn. This is player turn.
Okay. Well, I'm going to resupply. I want to see if I can catch Quentin at some point. And tell him of the situation. And then I'm gonna supply. So,
Alright.
where do I find Quentin?
Quentin would be kind of like by the little arena area that we met up at last time. Quentin would be kind of, might be a couple mice, a couple of the older ones as well. He may have kind of paired some off against each other. It's kind of just, I guess, like supervising, kind of like an instructor would almost. Just keeping like a really watchful eye, like making sure no one gets hurt. That'd be the worst.
So
Yeah,
you didn't stop Marcella as she got trounced by one of the kids. You know what? I'm gonna say she got trounced by Cole. Cole walks up and then somehow beats her.
Fucking Cole, man.
Cole is the hero that this city deserves. So yeah, I go up to Quentin with like kind of a grave expression on my face. I say, Quentin, the mayor's wife has been kidnapped by Geo.
He's gonna kind of, I guess, take a moment and I kind of guess just call out like a brief kind of break and take a couple paces back, like kind of off the side to Celia, and he's gonna say, "Damn it!" He's gonna kind of curse under his breath a bit. No, he says, "I think our best port of call is we can set sails and blindly follow a direction he went, or he had a cape with him. Maybe he had some connection to the Mouse Guard. Perhaps someone in Lockhaven knows who he is, where his home is, where he might go."
Yeah, we'll have to go to as soon as possible.
We will deal with this. So Quinn's gonna kind of like press a paw on Celia's shoulder and say, we did an admirable thing last night, and that this festival was able to continue. And evidently it did come at a cost. It's a cost that we will repay.
Well, I need supplies, and like she's kind of like fading in and out. Like I need supplies. I need to restock the poultices that I use.
Oh, you just take it. It's okay. There's no seemingly rush at the moment. I think our actions deterred any possible activities that might be occurring around this festival. Just take the rest of the day. Just enjoy the festival.
She's kidnapped. Quentin,
where do you?
She's gone because of us.
Quinn's gonna kind of like run his pull through his like hair, I guess, a bit. Just gonna kind of say kind of like it's sounding a bit more kind of hushed. Say what do you want to do about that? Where do we go?
Well, ask around if anyone's seen Geo or find tracks. Before they get too far away. I mean, this could.
He already had people in the town working alongside him. It'd be all too easy for someone to be just false information sent on a wild goose chase.
Well,
I understand your concern, but I don't think we have the capabilities to go now.
You mean? And she's like, she like steps back. I can't sleep like this. We have to do something. I mean, what if she like, there was a letter given to the mayor that was clearly a threat. They don't want the Mouse Guard.
A ransom? Did it have anything on it? Did it have any clues, destinations?
It had that phrase that Geo said last night before the ambush.
Which phrase?
I can't remember. It's like winter.
Let's go with winter is rather warm in spring, which literally makes no sense, and it's not meant to.
Yeah, winter is rather warm in spring.
Quentin kind of sighs a bit. He's like weighing things up internally. He says, I understand your concern and want for it, but we have a post here. We cannot leave it.
Can a player ask someone else to make a persuade roll? Because that might work, but I don't know how Celia feels on it.
Technically, there's no other player in this exact situation. You could technically spend your next check in order to. You can spend your check in order to grab another player, bring them over here, and get them to make the persuade roll. If that's what you want to do.
Quentin, I mean, yeah, like, I mean, this could always occur. I mean, it could occur. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess it still would be in the player's turn.
Yeah, like technically it will happen like as you guys are making camp. You guys can have someone else make a persuasion, but if you want it to happen right now, you have to spend a check. Otherwise, you can.
I have some
later
cool
this
stuff.
night.
I have some cool stuff I can add to it if we do a check here.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll spend one of my 2 remaining checks.
So Quentin's going to use 2 of his traits. He's going to use the trait leader, trying to kind of instill some authority to his tone. Like, we can't abandon our post. Like, we're here for a reason. And the other traits he wants to add in is the guard's honor. Like, appealing sympathy for the guard. Like, we're here on behalf of the guard. We can't abandon this post. Type deal. If that's acceptable.
Sounds good.
But our expert tracker.
Close.
And
no
I
cigar.
guess I'll resist with will. Maybe. Well.
Well, let's see. Does the cheat sheet say anything in particular? Because you're rolling persuasion, and that would be similar to an argument, and you're trying to resist his argument, which is, let's say, defense, and that is also a persuader.
Well, the thing is, I'm not like offering it. I'm not trying to convince him. I'm
Just
just
trying
kind of
to, like,
resistant to the idea.
Endure it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. Then yeah, will definitely work.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so she kind of just goes like silent, and she just looks like dead tired in a emotional sense as well as like a physical sense as she like looks at Quentin.
Quentin's
I
put an
will
arm
sleep.
Sorry.
I will rest, but let me know if anything changes. And she like opens her eyes again.
First thing tomorrow, when this festival comes to a close, out of character, I think it's tomorrow, or it's a couple of days, I have no idea. Quinn's just going to kind of say, as soon as our duties are done here at this festival, we'll make it our utmost priority. I'll have a firm word to the matriarch, and I'm sure she'll be sympathetic to our plight.
Okay. I nod and say, you know where to find me if you need me. Speaking of which, is there like a barracks that we have that we can sleep for free, or should I be rolling our resources for like getting a inn?
You guys have been camping out, but the inn would actually be better for you. So you can roll resources for an inn, but there is no barracks for you to stay at.
Okay. And that's a resources roll.
What kind of what kind of situation are you looking for? Are you something fancy? There is a festival going on, so the rooms are a little more expensive already.
I could also do like a circles roll to just try to find somebody who...
I was gonna bring it up if you want to look for like a friend or someone who's willing to like let you in. Maybe at the lowest, you could probably go to like a priest or something, and to see he has like a place for you to stay at.
Yeah. Well... Okay, so I'm just checking the resources listing for inspiration. It says resting lodging for the night is OB2, so I'm guessing if rooms are a bit more expensive, it might be like OB3 here. Whereas circles
wouldn't change.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna do that. Like, I can find someone of my same rank who is just like a laborer, or no, they wouldn't be a guard. Like, just find a laborer. That's not even the profession doesn't even matter.
As long as they have a house.
Yeah, no power to speak of, and willing to help in some capacity, which means that they have. That's an OB3 as well.
So it's up to you.
But
you can either make a friend or you can pay for a room.
I am gonna go with circles because I'm gonna use generous as like, because I have a reputation of like giving way more than I need. I would say that like a local friend would kind of treat me the same way. Like, I'm gonna like show up at their doorstep just like ragged and just like, please can I just stay the night here? Or just not even the night, it's daytime. Like, can I just rest for the rest of the festival, basically?
Go for it.
Okay. So that's 4 for my trait. Well...
Wow.
Shite.
I was really expecting you to roll a little better, and Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Sad
you're
days.
already tired. I think what's gonna happen is I'm gonna use the situation to further the story, and then both Brock and Pat are away.
Okay.
Okay. Well, then I can't further the story now. So
Yeah. Why don't we take a small break?
sounds good.
Okay, cool.